butterfly. I flip a switch, keep a secret, let you come inside. When I run the gamut, but I could never plan it. I keep on breathing when I land it. When I run the gamut, but I could never plan it. I keep on breathing when I land it. If you give me a piece of your heart, you keep easy when we are a part of two worlds. It could be nothing, maybe it's something. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on 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 me. Anytime you clock a butterfly, you flip a switch, keep a secret, let me come inside. When you run the gamut, but you could never plan it. You keep on breathing when you're in it. If you give me a piece of your heart, you keep easy when we are a part of two worlds. It could be nothing, maybe it's something. Keep your eyes on me. Give me a piece of your heart, you keep easy when we are a part of two worlds. If you give me a piece of your heart, you keep easy when we are a part of two worlds. It could be nothing, maybe it's something. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. cakewalk. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, hit 'em talk, let 'em take shots. 007 on the block, keep the aim cocked. Pull up to the spot with the squad, let the bass drop. Laser on the arm, brought the chop, this a cakewalk. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, hit 'em talk, let 'em take shots. 007 on the block, keep the aim cocked. What? Check my pedigree, I got legacy in my pop. You playing hopscotch on that top notch on the block. Slippin' slide like me, nah. Spice it up with the sauce. Yeah, my Lord said don't do it. I said bop, bop, bop. Yeah, my Lord said don't do it. I said bop, 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 bop. Yeah, my Lord said don't do it. I said bop. Call you up like what you doing? Ride around with the squad, no losing. Link you up with the Reaper, keep it moving. Yeah, they can't do it how we do it. Bring it up, can you keep up? Play for Lolita, big queso. I'm born with the ether, but I still take a heater. No halo, I've been with it ain't gone. I've been on my King Kong, come paylow. I've been on. What? Check my pedigree, I got legacy in my pop. You playing hopscotch on that top notch on the block. Slippin' slide like me, nah. Spice it up with the sauce. Yeah, my Lord said don't do it. I said yeah, my Lord said don't do it. I said bop. Yeah, my Lord said don't do it. I said what? Check my pedigree, I got legacy in my pop. You playing hopscotch on that top notch on the block. Slippin' slide like me, nah. Cholula with the sauce. Yeah, my Lord said don't do it. I said bop.
I need to keep you around with my feet tied, tied to the ground. The end's nowhere to be found. I don't know why you don't leave me to drown. Oh, don't know where to go unless you say. Don't know what to do unless you stay. Thinking that today will be our day, again. Winning, losing, either way I'm there. Got an attitude, I'm off the roof, up in the air. Let's run, I make it count, yeah, I'm talking right now. Feel like the comeback kid, got no time to spare. Double up score, 22-4. You know I win a lot, gotta win one more. On a hot street, never gets old. Soda with the ace and my team went gold. Why am I playing with time as it's ticking away? It's ticking away. I'm asking why. It's not a second to waste. They're ticking away. They're ticking I'll give it one more try. I don't know why, but I keep coming back every time. I want it more than my life. I don't know why, but it feels so right. Why am I playing with time as it's ticking away? It's ticking away. I'm asking why we run for our lives. It's not a second to waste. It's ticking away.
new fade. Come for your neck like a hoop chain. Wish all you want like you blue cakes, but I'm on the road like I move skates. Settle to the top like it's due date, and I'm never gonna stop like LeBron James. Big dreams, yeah, live large. We go hard to play hard. Dream big, live large. I work hard to play hard. I'm coming for the top and I ain't never gonna stop. Oh no. Dream big, live large. Work hard, play hard, go hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, go hard, play hard. Wearing them out like a bootlace, rise to the top like a souffle. I bring the heat like Dwayne Wade, dishing them out like a food tray. Big bars like I move weights, and I'm serving them up like a food plate. Yeah, big dreams, live large. We go hard to play hard. Dream big, live large. I work hard to play hard. I'm coming for the top and I ain't never gonna stop. Oh no. Dream big, live large. Work hard, play hard, go hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, go hard, play hard.
Hello everybody and welcome to the final day of Challengers EMEA Stage 3, and I suppose the final day of Challengers in a sense. I mean, we've still got the LCQs to come up, but it's the final day of the final stage of 2026, or the final year of Challengers. And look, we're here to crown one more EMEA champion here, and it's between two previous EMEA champions. It is Enterprise Esports versus Reborn in our grand finals today. But before we get started with all of that, I'm your host Twiggy as per usual, and I'm joined on the desk today by Pavlos and MP. Hopefully you guys have had a good time casting some of the games up until now, and now you can chill out with me here on the desk. Pavlos, how are you doing?
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, the casting has been great the past couple of days. Always love that. But being on the desk for the final day, you mentioned so many finals there. Final day, the final, grand finals, or the final ever challenges. Yeah, no, it's exciting to be here, and a full circle moment together with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And with these two amazing teams coming in the grand finals as well, like Twiggy mentioned, stage 1 winner and stage 2 winner, it's been a treat to follow these teams through here, and I think a lot of great teams dropping out as well. Focus as one that I was really sad about. I was really sad that they dropped out, but that means that Job Life got themselves through. And what a journey for Job Life as well through the playoffs. They were always under the threat of dropping out, but still made a deep run and secure that play-in spot.
Yeah, and look, Job Life, they had the chance yesterday to begin their revenge arc, right? They had only lost in this stage to Enterprise Esports in the group stage and Reborn there on the first day of playoffs. It didn't quite materialize. Reborn definitely rallied in that game against Job Life, a best of 5, and they got off to a great start with 2 maps in a row. Job Life just could not get it going, but that does mean that Reborn get their own rematch. Of course, they faced Enterprise Esports in the upper bracket finals in a best of 3, and Enterprise Esports kind of dismantled them from map 2 onwards, so this is definitely a bit of a grudge match now. Reborn have to, Pavlos, kind of I don't know, prove that they can beat Enterprise Esports once again.
100%. This is going to be a really interesting match here, Twiggy, because, look, I mean, again, we're looking through rematches over and over again. Sure, one time Reborn were able to win, but most recently Enterprise have got that mantle. But it's more about that, right? We're talking about young talent being brought up you know, from the very beginning. First challenger year for Kozi, for Kachao, and they've completely topped the charts on both sides, on both teams. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Many storylines to follow. Like we said, right, this is the very first challenger season for both of these youngsters, 16 and 17 years of age each. Both have been able to win EMEA titles on their very first years, and they've also won locally, of course. But the ACS numbers they've been boasting have been ridiculous, have been untouchable. And it's not just the numbers, it's the presence they have on the server, the fact that they'll take any fight with so much bravado as if they have no fear. Yeah, it just shows that this is the next generation, and we've got a lot of talent to look at coming into the next few years of Valorant.
Yeah, definitely two of the most dominant duelists in this region of, well, in Europe, I would say, especially in Tier 2, will definitely be the hottest names in the upcoming years. When they turn of age of 18, will be able to get picked up by those strong teams as well. And Kozi and Kachao, I mean, they've been incredible throughout this tournament, topping those charts like you highlighted, the ACS numbers. I think Kachao had his struggles yesterday, kind of dropping down in that, but still amazing player through and through.
All right, well, let's take a look at our two teams, our top 2 representatives coming out of challengers that are going to be playing in the play-ins, alongside 2 other teams, of course, Job Life, one of them, and then one from the LCQs later on. But Enterprise Esports, they are the Stage 1 champions here, and they have plenty of experience in challengers as an org as well, taking up the mantle, I feel, from, you know, Apex, when Apex moved on through the challengers system in towards VCT. They're kind of the next version of that, right? A dominant team that, yeah, maybe did not have a great Stage 2, but through their own words, that was mostly just because the meta did not, it just was not nice to them. But they have rebuilt, and this is a very scary team, Pavlos.
Indeed, very, very scary. I mean, there's so many familiar names in here, players that have been around the block and back again, right? Magnum, I feel like that's one of the players you need to mention in terms of going through so many different teams, iterations, successes, failures, and always finding a way into a really cool and interesting project. But yeah, we could be shining a light on every single one of these individuals, and we wouldn't be finishing this broadcast. So yeah, Enterprise is super exciting.
Yeah, but Magnum, that player to step up on that previous match, I think Iluri even highlighted that on the interview as well, that Magnum was the player to step up on those rounds, but in the comms as well. Very crucial player, great experience as well. And I think Magnum has been one of the keys on why Enterprise has been so successful, and their year-to-date win record is incredible. I mean, I think, Twiggy, you kind of brought in the point of Apex being that dominant force in the Northeast. Back then it was Polaris, but Enterprise, they are 42-5 in this year, which is incredible. Throughout their 47 matches, they've only lost 5 of them, and 2 of them came in a rough meta in that Challenger Stage 2.
Yeah, it does harken back to that time when Apex was just winning every single game. We were like, okay, this is getting boring now. Get them gone, get them in VCT so we don't have to deal with this. But look, Enterprise Esports have always made things interesting as well. I do think they're a very exciting team to watch, Pavlos.
I mean, absolutely. Look, Enterprise is one of those teams that had a bit of a difficulty through the year. You were mentioning, you know, Apex, previous iterations of Enterprise, teams from Northeast that were winning games non-stop. That wasn't quite the case for Enterprise this year. They had a new addition coming through, you know, Padidek jumping in. Sure, he slotted in nicely, but that's a big change. Losing some of your most important maps, having to relearn. They weren't in the playoffs of the previous split. They're back here for the finals, and now they got to show that they're back on winning ways.
Yeah, but I think it's a great idea of Enterprise being that really great team in terms of having that fundamental behavior in their own playstyle. But then again, on the other side, you have Reborn, who has a really peculiar own playstyle with the Neon Waylay combination. Kachao being that young talent, running the Neon, playing that rifle. And I feel like Deadink is literally the perfect balance to that. He is creating a lot of space to Kachao. He's also opening a lot of chances for potential plays. And Deadink also so deadly with the snipers that it doesn't, Kachao doesn't need to pick those up. It's Deadink usually finding those entry picks with the Operator or Outlaw, and Reborn has been a scary sight to see, especially after they left S2G.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? I would call this team scary in a way that somehow Enterprise Esports doesn't quite encapsulate the same feeling when you come up against this team. Even though, yes, they have very similar kind of win records, they have a very similar kind of record in terms of being champions of EMEA. Reborn are, of course, the returning champions, most recently winning in Stage 2. And they are a scary team. They're coming into this one, they're young, they're very, very explosive. And that does mean that they come into games with a kind of aura, right? They're going to come into this one, even though they did lose in that best of 3 against Enterprise Esports. One of those maps was 13-2. They barely even got started on it. They still kind of feel like they are a scary team to come up against that could go ahead and win this one, Pavlos.
They are the team that will adapt, though, learn from their mistakes, and we've seen it a few times already from their previous matchup against Job Life, right? A couple of maps where in the past they may have struggled with, in the past certain compositions they had weaknesses against. I'll mention Splits and on that Sage composition as an example. They've learned how to handle that. They know their weaknesses against that situation, and you know, after a few days, they'll be back on track. So I think that could be the same against Enterprise today. I think they're really good at learning from those mistakes. Sure, you've had a couple of weaker maps, some odd results that didn't look quite strong from you, but I think Reborn have a chance to make up for that from their previous performances.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's one player in particular that is behind these key moments for Reborn to come back, and that is being Batu Nux. Lev even highlighted him in the interview that Batu is the first guy to tell these guys, start laughing, start playing like we're used to. We only play good when we are happy playing the game. And I think this is brilliant coming from Batu, because it's been interesting following his career and seeing his development coming through, going through every role possible in the game, in Apex and S2G. And I have to believe that Batu's time in Apex has paved his way to be this leader for Reborn, to find these kind of plays, find these kind of clips to bring Reborn that win yesterday. And he went through so much adversity in that roster in Apex, not being able to get a single win in VCT, and now making sure that he is the tool to rely on when everything else seems to go downhill.
He's that supporting piece. Sorry to interrupt. He really is a supporting piece, because he'll slot into any role you absolutely want him to, that he feels that will set up the rest of his team for success, whether that's Kachao, whether that's Hezekor. I mean, hell, whether that's Deadink, right? You'll slot into Sentinel. You'll slot into a very different type of initiator, right? Because I consider Flash and Info completely different roles. And yeah, in comparison with Alluri, I feel like there's a big level of flexibility here, knowing that the strengths of the team are his individuals. So he's doing the best to set them up for success.
Yeah, I mean, look, the reason I even asked Lev about Batu specifically, it wasn't just because of the highlight plays that he showed that day, but it was just because very clearly this was a player that, when the going was tough, whenever he made a good play, he was making it known, right? I mean, you saw it on the cameras. You couldn't see it on the replays. We don't show the cameras when it comes to the replays, but there were certain moments where Batu very clearly made an impact on us watching the games just through the way he was reacting to things, the way he was playing it up for the camera, MP.
I mean, yeah, I think that was really interesting, and I love that we have the cameras to highlight that. But on that head-to-head, you saw the other IGL, Iluri. He has done it pretty much all that you can do in Tier 2. He has won nearly everything that you can win here. He did it in Dark. Then this year he came to Northeast with the Storm, leading a roster that with one more year of Northeast, I think they could have possibly threatened that legacy of Apex that we kind of talked about, being the most dominant team in this region. Sure. And Iluri's strength, he highlighted this himself in an interview. I spotted this on X. Iluri's strengths are as a caller, his strength is that he can play slow or fast. He's really good at adapting to different teams, different play styles, and I think we've seen this in different instances in this tournament. But I think the perfect highlighted round of this is round 8. That's versus Reborn in Ascent. Why this is one of the most important rounds to me, especially highlighting how Iluri is capable into adapting, is just because Reborn just came from a timeout in round 7, completely focusing into this gun round. And look at how Enterprise completely adapt. Beautiful set piece coming from that. Iluri is setting his duelist up there, Lime going deep, finding those picks, completely annihilating anything that Reborn had in that round, getting a flawless round in the end as well. And not only this was shutting down the first timeout that Reborn got, they went on to another timeout right after this, so Enterprise completely shutting Reborn out of that game.
And while on the topic of the leadership, right, because we talked about Iluri, we talked about Batu, but there's more behind that, behind the scenes. And I'm looking at the leadership in terms of the coaching positions. You've got Itopara and Shad on the one hand, you've got Lev on the other, and it's a little bit night and day in terms of experience, right? Sure, Lev has had his first idea of what is it to win a regional tournament in Challengers. This was the first ever year he's been able to do that, done that in the EMEA, Challengers EMEA as well. Awesome. But Itopara not only has that regionally in multiple years, multiple different rosters, but has even found a VCT America's title with Leviathan. So look, I mean, if you want someone to be that backbone on those timeouts that can provide that crucial impact, even though I say that both teams have got that great structure behind them, I think when you look at Enterprise, there's that extra spice of experience. Itopara always seemed like that person that can change the attitude of a team no matter what.
Yeah, I think that's important when we're, looking at this in the context of going into VCT now, right? Where these two teams are moving into the VCT play-ins right after this. It's important to have that kind of experience against teams that are well organized, right? Maybe VCT teams, as we have kind of asked the Enterprise players and we've asked the Reborn players about them, aren't all, it's not like there's two levels. It's not like there's VCT and then the worst VCT team is far better than the best tier 2 team, right? But there is that experience. There is an experience difference and there is an organizational difference between the two ones. So having that experience as a Challengers team is very important. But when it comes to these two, let's look again at the matchup, because I think it is one of those ones where each of them are each other's kryptonite a little bit, right? It seems like the only team that can make each other bleed is kind of each other, Pavlos.
It is indeed, though we haven't quite seen them on a BO5 format. We're looking at the two matches that we've seen them on so far, the two series throughout the year, one in Stage 2, a very, very close series, even though it was at 2-0, overtimes required on both Fracture and Split. On the other time, though, more recently, we've seen a bit of a different switch up. Sure, Haven went to Reborn's way, But as soon as Enterprise entered Ascent, they went into complete killer mode, right? They didn't allow Reborn to breathe on that map a single second. And look, justifiably, that's concerning. If you're a Reborn fan, if you're hoping that the Turkish challenger scene can have another team get to that top level, Enterprise seem to have their number on that map. I wonder if that can change, MP.
I think it's interesting, especially in the dynamic that we have in the map veto, but I think this is crucial point of Reborn winning those 2 games really closely when Enterprise were kind of down, kind of switching things up from different compositions coming off of that previous meta. Now to win against Reborn quite in decisive phase, or quite decisively, especially after that first map, it seemed like Reborn didn't really have any way to get into that match. To me, it's really interesting to see where Reborn is gonna go in terms of that map veto, because Enterprise Esports, they have the advantage. They have those 2 bans and the first pick as well. And definitely looking back at those previous matchups, especially the latest one that we had, I think that's something to draw some ideas on where Reborn might take this, because for sure I think they're both the best of their maps will be taken out. Enterprise is permabanning Breeze. They don't really like giving that Pearl onto Reborn, so I think it's interesting to see where Reborn is going to go in terms of that map veto as well.
Yeah, I think it's important to note as well, when we were looking at that Ascent, obviously, and we've always kind of seen Enterprise as a team that, you know, kind of lose their first map and then go insane afterwards, or, you know, they did say themselves, Lev said when their back's against the wall, that's when they, oh, sorry, not Lev, Itapeta said when their back is against the wall, that's when they come alive, right? That's when they really have that fire under them. They lost the first 2 rounds on Ascent, and then they won 13 in a row. It wasn't just like, you know, they gave away a couple of rounds here and there. They went flawless for 13 straight rounds on that one. So yeah, that's going to be scary. There's going to be memories coming back into that for Reborn. Of course, they played Ascent the other day against Job Life. They won that one, so they've definitely, you know, they've learned something from it, and they said that themselves. But I think coming into this, there is just that kind of intimidation factor from the side of Enterprise. But, of course, we do have to talk about the map veto. Enterprise coming into this one as the upper seed, as they won the upper finals. They get 2 bans and the first pick, MP.
Yeah, and I think we have some graphics to highlight the best maps for the side of Reborn and Enterprise as well. It's something interesting to see that I kind of highlighted already. Pearl has been something that Reborn has been decently, or Split rather, it has been something that Reborn has been picking here. It's great for them. They've only lost against Navi Juniors, if I recall correctly. Yeah, and Breeze as well. That has been great for Reborn. Enterprise haven't played that. That's a permaban. So in terms of what is happening in the map veto, in terms of what is happening for the bans, I think Enterprise Esports are looking to target ban that Split out. If not, it's interesting to see where that ban is gonna go. And for the side of Reborn, they have good maps. Lotus Haven, Fracture even is great for them. But then again, Enterprise is insanely good on that map. So it's interesting to see what is happening here.
Yeah, it's hard, I think, for Reborn generally, right? Not only they're on the back foot in terms of the veto to begin with, given that, you know, Enterprise have got the highest seed, they're coming out from the upper bracket, of course they'll have the advantage of the 2 bans, etc. But it's also hard because Enterprise don't really have weak maps. Sure, you can say Pearl's a little bit weaker if you, depending on how, you know, how far back you're looking. But I'm looking at the past couple of maps they played, and they played a really difficult game up against Job Life. Job Life's supposed to be really good on this, and they still were able to steal this one away. So interesting choices ahead. Breeze split out already as we're about to see the first picks.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that surprising. Getting started, obviously. Enterprise are never going to play Breeze. That's not happening. Split, yeah, it's a very, very good map for Reborn. Yeah. So, yeah, first pick being Pearl is definitely interesting. It's just one of the ones that Reborn haven't really played as much, MP.
Yeah, they played only against Na'Vi Juniors, as we know, Reborn today after S2G. They've obviously won that game with the Neon Waylay composition, but Enterprise, I guess they're feeling comfortable to take that one out. Yeah, Haven, good pick for the side of Reborn. I think this directly draws into that previous matchup that they had against Enterprise Esports. They felt comfortable there. They felt really good facing against Enterprise in Haven. They won that match and decided to go there once more.
So what's interesting to me about the veto generally in this match, and what has been really the case throughout the playoffs, is not only about the preference in terms of maps, you know, where there is comfortability for both sides. It's a little bit about who can control the pace where, right? How your composition stacks up against your opponent's comp, right? What are you trying to achieve and what are your opponents trying to achieve, and do you have the capabilities to stop them? And given the Reborn, like Reborn have this unique style, their own way of imposing their way onto this onto a map, Enterprise have gone for picks in my eyes that are looking to stop that. Pearl coming in straight away, Fracture there. You've got some really difficult pace changer situations in here that can disrupt Reborn very quickly if they're not careful.
Yeah, but quite interesting, leaving Ascent as a decider map, especially with the way that Enterprise won against Reborn on that previous match. I would have expected Ascent coming sooner, but I guess they felt that Reborn were decent against Job Life yesterday on that match. Obviously, Reborn winning that, but to me, it felt still that Reborn were really uncomfortable in that map. So I would have guessed that Enterprise would have gone to Ascent in one of their own picks, but hey, I guess they feel comfortable that being the decider map and going there on their own terms. Maybe not wanting to let Reborn pick the side, which is interesting. I'm not quite sure. I think I missed it. Who is going to pick the side on the decider map? But hey, I think that was just an interesting part of that map era as well.
I do think maybe it's one of those ones where does lightning strikes the same place twice, right? The 13-2, can you count it as an actual you beat them 13-2, or was it just that Reborn just kind of gave up after a little while? You know, it doesn't feel like a real result, in the same way that Reborn might have exited that game going, it's a wash, it doesn't matter. I'm not sure. Maybe they're counting it as one that we can definitely win decisively again, MP.
So I think that comes definitely straight into the point of what is win conditions for Reborn, or what are the win conditions. And I think that's to keep the energy up. That's when they are nearly unstoppable. But they were struggling with that a bit yesterday, but especially against that Enterprise match in that Ascent. So something that they need to take care is keep that energy up. I think Batunax, like Lev highlighted, will be the key for that. Can he do it in all of these maps? I think that would definitely set Reborn well up in this series.
Look, they've been doubted before, right? Northeast representatives, Na'Vi Junior tried to take them down in the finals in the previous split. Didn't quite happen. Now, we know the situation of that. Yeah, Enterprise didn't even make the playoffs there. We were talking about, you know, how difficult it was for them to, not that it was too difficult, but it wasn't, you know, a quick adaptation from them with the map changes, with Paddock coming in, etc., etc. Weren't quite relevant in that split. This is a completely different look, right? I feel like Enterprise are that boss that you need to handle, and unless Reborn are able to instate their own pace from the get-go, able to get the flow from the very beginning, I feel they're going to struggle because, like you were mentioning earlier, Twiggy, Enterprise are slow to start. If they get off to a great start, that's where things get tough.
Yeah, look, for me, I think these are two amazing teams that on each of their days could win this series, you know, outright, right? I think they have the potential, both of them, but I just think Enterprise have more of that experience. They have a better track record in terms of being able to set these kind of victories up. And sure, Reborn have not lost a best of 5 as their org, but I do think that I don't know. I just think that Enterprise Esports have that je ne sais quoi to be able to take this one away, right? Maybe that's a bit of Northeast bias coming in. At least we're not the only monolingual nation then in that case. We're going to Asian Select here. For Enterprise. I mean, look, this is an important first map, but I don't think they picked their strongest to get started.
Fair. But at the same time, I think it's one of the maps where Reborn may not be as comfortable in to get things going. Again, you've got the Killjoy, you've got the Fade, got the Astra. Enterprise are sort of hoping that this is good enough to disrupt Reborn's attack, not them having too many facilities for those post plants, and for then Kozi and Line to jump in for the retakes. That's kind of what you're looking at here. While Reborn, on the other hand, the double fast duelist, Neon, Waylay, we know how explosive they can be. They need to enter sites without too many casualties, right? They need clean executes, and you will notice a lot of pack mentality coming out from them. Sure, you'll have those lurks here and there, but the force will come in numbers.
I do like that Reborn are switching away from that Sova and bringing the Fade instead. I think it provides so much more value in terms of having that Waylay Neon composition, especially with the Nightfall, but you have Prowlers, Haunt, Seas as well to keep enemies at bay when Kachao is just dashing through and Deadink is coming through with the Waylay as well. Some interesting ideas coming through for the side of Reborn. I think Enterprise, they have to be on top of their game, and the way to win this map and this series for Enterprise, they have to face Reborn on their own terms. There's two options: take the fight to 10 before the Reborn's timings to take on the site, or play retake. That's the case that Job Life had on Ascent yesterday. It was working brilliantly for them. Not quite enough to win that, but hey, I think those are the two win conditions for EP.
All right, with that said, it is the final test now for these two teams. Can Enterprise Esports get off to an uncharacteristically good start, or are they going to have to do what they always do and come back from a map down? We'll find out now with Hazard and Cairo.
Yes, it's Championship Sunday for the final time in Challengers EMEA main stage, where the next generation of Turkish stars will take on another European super team. It's a story as old as the circuit itself, and the lower bracket finalists will certainly be hoping it ends as a title defense.
Yeah, I mean, Hazza, looking at it this way, this is the gauntlet to prove yourselves. You beat EP in a best of 3 during groups to go all the way to your first title. Can you beat them in a best of 5 where all odds are against you? We're guaranteed at least 3 maps. That's how many maps it took to finish out the last best of 3 between these two. And we start on Peril. This has been Reborn's insta-ban for the past, I don't know how many series.
Enterprise looking to get maximum value from that double map ban advantage. Starting out on the defender's side already, you can see 3 players positioned towards the alleyway. That's where Lime is able to tee up the first, and Alluri's not too far behind. This defensive double act already getting to work as Hezakor can answer in kind. A little bit of art space opened up, and actually Enterprise are getting proactive about this. Want to play on the front foot, straight into Batu. 3 more from the captain as he picks right up where he left off yesterday.
Patitek trying to gamble towards the ace side, but with 13 points of health, he feels a bit unlucky to be coming into a 1 versus 3. Would take something magnificent, but I don't know if he's got the goods, Hazza.
Spike planted.
A tall order asked of the newest player into the lineup. Of course, with the exception of their Stage 2 group exit, Enterprise have placed first in every event they've attended this year. And since Patitek has joined, they're looking to get over that slump fully now. A 1 versus 3 in front of him here, and already work cut out. Reborn with the opening pistol.
Yeah, and the last time we've actually seen Enterprise play this Peril would have been up against Job Life way back in the winners match of their group of Challengers 3. It's been a while since then. Pistol are not going their way. Will give Reborn a little bit of momentum to hit into this. And I mean, in the third, I guess, iteration in this matchup between Enterprise and Reborn, it's nice that we get to see Enterprise go, I guess, everything, all the chips in their favour.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for them, of course, to really establish themselves as the best, where Reborn popped up in the middle of the year, as the Turkish teams like to do, it seems, but the dominant force from their own. And to just talk about this map veto a little bit more, as of course Enterprise are on the full save here, I think it's important to mention, yes, Reborn are undefeated in best of 5s. They've not dropped more than 1 map per series from what we've seen so far. And that was them coming up from the lower bracket in the previous stage. I feel as if Na'Vi Junior didn't get the maximum value from that double ban though. Whereas Enterprise, they've not shown Split or Breeze this stage. Both of them banned out. Pearl actually shown in that best of 5 by Na'Vi Junior, where they hadn't shown it all events. So already feeling a lot more confident, I think, about the lay of the land heading into this one.
Yeah, overall, Enterprise coming as 5 towards the main spot that Hezekiah was holding down. He's a player that's been very good at tapping heads and already looking to retreat and leave the pistol players to try and farm some orbs.
It's a flash down the throat of Kachao. The pistol here from Riazi does get to work and find 3 kills. There was a Vandal left behind in that exchange, so Patatek in picking it up still looks to give this one a go. But it is handed swiftly back to the Turkish Titans. Magnum remaining. He will also, for a moment, try his luck, but nothing going. And in the end, the anti-eco good enough.
Yeah, a little worry there. I mean, if it wasn't for Dead Ink's sharp shooting, you've got a Marshal and a pistol. If Dead Ink missed, then things start to get a little bit more worrying than you would have thought. Riazi does well with his Ghost. Enterprise making issues already. We're into a rifle versus rifle for the bonus round on Reborn's side. So in terms of building your game up, I mean, Reborn are in the perfect position right now.
Yeah, money looking good in terms of ults. Meaningful progress made by both sides, but nothing expected to come up here. Maybe if Kozi has a pop-off round, the run it back could be there for him, but otherwise, you can see how Enterprise are catering this defense so heavily towards the B site. The threat of a fast pop from the double duelist as Alluri has already taken one through the wall here, a bullet in A main. Forced a rotation, 2 players arriving now in Art to support the solo IGL.
2, or at least one of your best ankles in Magnum, and he's gonna strike first, and it seems if Reborn don't want to stop, want to keep going into this site. You've got Lame that's managed to escape towards backside and the utility good to clear it, but there's other players on the site to help out. Lame realistically is just there as a distraction, and Enterprise have denied Reborn any entry. Look where that spike is, still in main.
And a flawless round on the A defense from Enterprise. 3-time winners of Northeast. As we say, other than Stage 2 EMEA, they have placed first in every event attended, including Clash. VCT scalps taken already by this team. And in that round, Reborn just not engaging in the push and pull, not giving enough pressure on other avenues of the map to make things difficult for Enterprise. And that's what we really want to see from this attack side. Bit of a half purchase here now, Cairo. 2 sheriffs in the mix, rounded out by the remaining rifles.
I mean, we've seen Reborn on the sheriffs before. Make no mistake about it, they can be dangerous.
Certainly can. What, it was Batu yesterday, a 4K,
yeah,
at a critical point on an eco. That's the thing about this Reborn team. They have so many stars. It's just the micro which really needs to stay sharp so you get maximum value from that individuality.
I agree, but macro-wise, Enterprise are doing extremely well. They've got a hold of A fight in towards lane, goes Reborn's way though.
Yeah, Magnum falling. Kachao already causing a bit of an issue. Proactivity Enterprise fighting B main now.
Yeah, trying to see if they can find Riazi. Break off the arm of the push, the other one, the weaker one. And Enterprise come out not too bad at the other side, but Reborn very quick at trying to route out any push elsewhere. Here comes Lime. He's been on a long flank. Can he get any value? It seems he can. Spike down on the ground, a 1 versus 1 against Kachao. It's Neon versus Neon. The head being seen of Kachao. And Lime now trying to defend his spot on Pillar and puts Kachao on a spike, a clutch for Enterprise.
And it's exactly these moments that I was teeing up in the build-up to that round. The micro, when Reborn are trying to deathball into a site, how effective are your trades? They get caught blindsided by Lime's fast flank in the end, 3 which he has to take to win the round for them. But it is a backbreaker in terms of economy, and with Reborn now fully reset, it's back to the drawing board.
I think like Lime just does so well, but it comes from the setup from Enterprise, right? The fact that they are proactive towards that A main spot. Back to mid for Reborn.
And And that's exactly what Enterprise have to do, force these reactions into the extremities, especially if Reborn want to take this mid space. As you can see already, Deadink deep in connector, Hinder dropped at the feet of Kozi, but Kachao can't capitalize, and with Magnum there to double up, it is an easy opening pick for the defensive side.
I mean, Kozi's flash perfection and the re-clear in towards lane, that's so as well. Where did Reborn even go at this point? They're heading into more utility.
A weak purchase on the surface, but no signs of life really here for them, as Enterprise will be looking for another flawless round to strengthen their economy, where a couple of players were low on credits heading out of the buy phase here. I think something that we have to mention as this first half progresses really is the series that we saw last time. We were talking about it being a slow start for Enterprise, but I actually went back and had a look, and it's interesting. They've only trailed in the first half once against Reborn out of the 5 maps that they've played. And so what that says to me more than anything else is that they've always got a solid game plan coming in. It's those gradual adaptations as the map progresses and into that second half where the problems start to pop up. This has looked clean so far though.
Yeah.
And Lime will make sure it's just the one casualty.
I guess at the same time, though, there's maybe a further discussion to be had there, and I think the discussion is more around Alluri when it comes to these adaptations. I think like something that we always kind of spoke about with Alluri when he was on that Mouse team was the earlier splits. They were always very good at creating a dominant, starting dominantly in the year, but those adaptations in the games plans as the year gone on got a bit worse for wear.
Sure.
I think maybe that further conversation comes into the coach with Kundi, but I mean it's a discussion for a different time.
Bring them down.
For sure. And a different coaching staff here entirely as well, of course. The Mao's roster that you're alluding to, very much by the book in terms of how they played. But on the defender's side here already, Enterprise have found the lead back for themselves. Ults up for Reborn in this next purchase. Once again, Alleyway tested. This time a face check from Batu, but just look how quick Enterprise are to react. 2 players out in middle, right behind and ready to flank.
Yeah, trying to break off that push through Art, and already have done it. It's Alluri on towards site, Deadlink. Oh, he's been caught in his own refract. At least Kachao is able to capitalise, but the damage may have already been done. The fact that you're going to have the lockdown forcing the hand of Reborn here as they try to push in towards Secret.
But they can't even get a plant from this position as well because the site is covered by the lockdown and there's a stun coming in.
God.
Oh, a couple players detained. No, just the one.
Yeah, perfect utility overall by Enterprise. Maybe they're thinking that this could have headed elsewhere as the ARC players start to retreat. In fact, it's just a group up, 4 versus 3.
30 seconds left.
And with this alarm bot left behind in Art as well, Reborn have to try and make something happen. Instead, it's Kozi to take initiative with the Phoenix ult.
Yeah, with support as well. There is a retort through the ultimates, but Spike's on the ground and there's not enough time. Not enough granules in the hourglass. Reborn cannot make it work. And Enterprise going from strength to strength.
Showing some real tenacity in that situation, not to just swing at the opportunity of a duel on site. Knowing what their win conditions are, great use of the lockdown through Art, and as soon as that control evaporates for Reborn, they look stuck, dead in the water. I liked some of the micro on the initial push from them. You had Deadink drop in with that Hinder and Kachao was right there. This is a partnership which we've seen find huge value. These are the stars on this team. Kachao, the 17-year-old, just breaking out now. After being part of S2G's academy, we saw him in the off-season back in Blender. The promise has always been there. It's these big games, though, where you want to see them break the mold. And it's not the first time where they have been the team that's gone a few rounds down and had to call that timeout first.
Yeah, it's one of these moments where you're really hoping that Reborn can show the quality, but overall, like, if this is your insta-ban is Reborn and Enterprise are already starting to show their dominance, it is like the first sign of cracks in the foundation for Reborn here,
sure,
that they are going to go 1-0 down. I think overall, I'm thinking more so that Reborn are being successful in taking most of the site there, right? And it's more like, guys, what are we doing? We're panicking, we're not thinking about our game plan.
This map was a stronghold for Enterprise at the start of the year, but after back-to-back losses to Liquid and Na'Vi Jr. That's when they gave up the ghost. Reborn trying to add another one here as Magnum gets melted through the smoke, and Dead Ink does contribute in the end. It's the opening pick found, but Kozzy's still that next line of defense ready to go. Playing rotation on this Phoenix and already identifying Dead Ink past connector.
You can see Enterprise once again taking space away from Reborn. It's just this lane position they need to worry about.
Is up in long, like you say, but Patatech has to play this with a bit of diligence. Goes down to the melee in the end to try and break the horn, fully revealed. And with the operator firing a blind shot through the smoke, Reborn know exactly where these last couple players are. They're going to force the issue towards CT, and it's perfectly played out by them. Kozzy the one that drops in the end, and a full retake now for Enterprise as the roles reverse.
Yeah, the stars on the spike. This is the perfect post plan for Reborn. It's whether Enterprise can get in there on time.
So an ult invested from Lime. It's the overdrive that goes in. Batu catches the sliding Neon. Another triple kill from his Sheriff. And Reborn's Battle Axe just cuts right through them.
Hey, listen, we spoke about it before. These Sheriffs are not to be messed with. Do not discount them. Punishment towards Enterprise, trying to really manipulate the middle of that map. Or Reborn, happy to give up the extremities. And I mean, maybe a bit of luck on the lineup, but if you're Reborn, you'll take it.
I'm so glad that we managed to catch that second POV there of Batu. Like we were discussing, even the Sheriff rounds, Enterprise have to be cautious of. It's a one-round game at this point in time. This map has not been without its issues for them, and I think it's interesting that we see it come up now for the first time in this EMEA stage. In a final. Is that another mistake? Or have they called this veto perfectly? Remains to be seen, but Reborn queuing up. 4 players B long with the Astra detached and ready to set up util.
Reborn finally press the go button, and Magnum holding down backside, successful. It's the Astra of Patatech that loses out, and as you said, Hazard, that detachment start to work now.
Yeah, you can already see the progress that Hezekiah has made towards the A site, weaving his way through Art, and might catch a nice timing here on Alluri. The IGL info may just trade places with him, in fact, as he's already passed through into Secret.
Oh, this could be a real problem. Unluckily enough for Hezekiah, Alluri hasn't got a glimpse.
He's going to give away his position though, so Reborn no, but spam kill and the spike is dropped.
Huge. Can he defend his position? No, but the time is low, and that spike does need to go down. Riazi here to support, and it should go down just in time. As Enterprise now start to flood back in it. Operator to hold things down. Doesn't connect the shot. Riazi though gives himself up. So is Kachao on 6 bullets. Needs to be clean realistically, but you're up against Kozzy and Magnum. A real problem, and can't do it. 3 bullets now. Only 1 shot in the error. Takes Magnum by surprise, but the quick adjustment gives Enterprise the round. And no mistakes this time.
Yeah, it's still in those areas though where Reborn are most scary. Player disadvantage or not, when things start to get a little bit chaotic, that's when you're going to see them excel. Enterprise, of course, a very strong team, great protocols, reactions, again, all of this macro play that you've seen from them. And on this round, the success story really lies in the A rotation, which they call at the end. Alluri does pretty well, and time somewhat betrays the Turkish team.
I feel as if this B site, oh sorry, the A site, I'm getting mixed up in my sites, Hazard. A site's been a real issue for Reborn in terms of when they get the execute in. Scared of the flood, wanting to try and fight more.
Yeah. I mean, that's the issue, isn't it? Because Enterprise have already shown 2 different ways that they can play it. They backfill and fight heavy to keep that site control, or when the ults are up, they fully concede it. I'm here just lingering in middle with an operator, shot through the double doors, and well, that's the first time we've seen Enterprise really punish the opening mid-piece from Reborn, other than that flank a few rounds ago. And, well, they're ready to fight A this time. They've got numbers on spot.
They do. Reborn on the entry are pretty successful overall. Luri not hitting. Kachao certainly is. He started this map off brilliantly and continues to do so. Lime's operator denies the spike and it settles on a 2-on-1 that Magnum will finish out. And again, it's the A site issue.
That's Magnum, which strong arms Reborn out of position there. Very bold peek to take at the end in the 2v1, but works out.
Go, go, go.
And as we were just saying in the round itself, there are a couple options of how Enterprise want to try and play this. Look like actually Reborn had them to rights in this situation, but Luri popping up again, those same names in the feed. Magnum ever capable in these anchoring positions. And so once more it's a setup change. The operator this time from Lime has rotated into B long, and this is the sort of extremity control which wins you rounds on macro again.
Once again, Reborn go back to the A slate and somehow get back in. A rifle to pick up their dead ink, and Magnum still not found, finally is. And Reborn have an advantage in this site. Patitech also identified, and he's able to get out with his life though. Causey just sends it in. This is chaos. Once again, you can see Enterprise's game plan at hand, trying to take Reborn off guard, and it seems to be working for the most part. It ends up in a 2-on-1 though.
And Hezekiah doesn't have any stars left to play with, just now one online, and it's just a recall.
Yeah, tries to give that safety. In fact, the safety's already there. The spam's not hit. Hezekiah missing out, and Enterprise will take the advantage. Lovely stuff in the end. Operator picked up. And I mean, Reborn creating issues, but they also gave up a lot of ultimates for that round, or to even create an issue.
Yeah, for sure. It all started through Kachao's overdrive, the conduit for opening the A site. Left down to a clutch for Hezekiah, but with everything on cooldown, no way to win it, and really stemming from the issue of this A site control again that we were talking about. Enterprise doing a good job to just jostle it back from Reborn, knowing exactly when the timings are for them to best engage. Spike dropped in spawn, much slower pace to this from the attack side. And Lime continues to roam with the operator. The threat stalking them round every single corner. Snaps the shot on the flick. And with Causey not too far behind, Reborn have double the deficit in the opening exchange.
Riazi very deep in art.
The question is anyone going to try and play into him? It's the Prowler first and the Flash second. Causey follows it up, Lime and him. Two-man show as it stands, a flawless round and the perfect finish. Really, you couldn't ask for much better micro between the players in that round.
No, you can't. And on top of that, I mean, the concession is maybe that Deadink got his ultimate back online, the Whaley one. But again, I'm just not seeing enough value, and I think it's a part of the underpreparedness of Reborn here. We never expected it to be a big important map, unless it was a real big ace up the sleeve.
And again, it comes back to what the desk was talking about earlier as well. You want to see Batu be this emotional leader and keep them in the game, keep the vibes up, because we know this isn't a strong map for them. They have plenty of opportunities to turn it around as we continue through the veto process. Back in the saddle for now, though. Another A execution ready to go. And there are at least 3 bodies here for Enterprise, if you count Lime in art. Valuable control with the ults that they have.
Just an immediate response through the Nightfall to the Whaley ultimate. And Kachao goes deep once again. 15 points of health. Now managed to get back up. But he's in towards backside, and you can see Enterprise, they still want to flood, they still want to play on the front foot, and you're even going to get the lockdown down.
This is the first time which Reborn have actually called to cancel the execution and rotate. It is in part from the lockdown, which was invested by Magnum, and actually it gets Patitech ahead of this B push.
Yeah, big kill, the grab well, creating delay. Reborn, though, have managed to get out. A tap of the spike. Does anybody come out? It seems that Patitech wants to go for it, and the rest of Enterprise with them. That's 9-3 at the half.
And so Enterprise will lead, as they have done, all but one time in the exchanges between these two. Had no issue putting themselves in front. It's about closing out on their map pick, 9-3 at the half. The first half of this grand final has gone from redeemable to territories near irretrievable for Reborn, unfortunately. They had a weigh-in at the start. It was the pistol and anti-eco conversion, and then only one gun round from a possible 10 that has left them on the meager sum of 3 rounds, Cairo. What is it that we need to see from them to get this one back on track?
I think fighting as a unit, playing together. I think a big issue that we notified was that A site was a problem for Reborn to hold to get that spike down. And it was more so because Enterprise were flooding, and Reborn leaving players on islands towards back site certainly wasn't beneficial. Need to start to see that team play that we know Reborn for. And so it seems as if that will be the case with 4 players on B site.
Takes so much to make a grand final, let alone in back-to-back fashion for this roster of rookies at Challengers EMEA level. And looking at it here, they have bodies in the right place. 4 of them on the B site to defend Enterprise's attack pistol. A pistol which would put them far and away in front. So it is imperative that the Turkish side can find something here, and as the round goes quiet, given time to breathe, they rotate away from the site. Enterprise keeping numbers in long, however.
Just waiting for the re-hit, waiting for any re-clear. At the same time, though, Magnum is the canary in the coal mines. As he goes towards the A site, seems as if he's identified the fade towards that part of the map. Nothing's become of it though, and this is where the main pack is going to activate. Magnum done his job though on the A site.
You can see Reborn actually just rotating back to the B site. They know this is a fake through the Sentinel. Everyone's blind. Jules coming in and they trade both ways. 2-on-2 situation when the dust settles, but Kachao trying to interrupt this. In fact, Dedink is right by his side. The pair sweeping in to clean up, but it's Kozi who will put a bow on things. Double digits for Enterprise, just coming out of the opening 12, and with that, it should be the map wrapped up.
Should be. I think that's the one thing that you can count on with Enterprise. If you give them a job to do, do, they will do it. Is that going to be Kozio Lime entering? Sure, and at least going to get one? Yeah, maybe even two. Magnum, on the other hand, going to look towards A and even create a bit of an issue to pull a rotate. He does that, even gets the kill before he dies. That leaves Enterprise in an advantage on the site hit. That's what Enterprise are so good at.
Key difference from Reborn's attack rounds, layering in a little extra. That lurk you described from Magnum.
It's just brilliant seasoning realistically on the round.
And even while it didn't necessarily drag a big rotation,
yeah,
it's that interaction that you really want to see from this team as things carry on.
And I
guess that's the thing, right? It's a map like Pearl as well. If you're not playing it, if you've not got reps on it, it is their insta-ban. These things are that much harder to put in place.
Can be, and I mean, a round like this, right? Enterprise fight, they know they've got the A space. If Reborn reclear it, there's a player to hold it. If anybody tries to go up B long, Magnum's there. They have information sources at every point, and they are basically in control of the information economy at this point in time. Reborn have to try and fight for any information in this round, and on pistols, that's not what you want to do.
The concern for Enterprise now, though, becomes the time issue. And for all the map material they have, Reborn not hitting any contact towards A just yet, might start thinking about a gamble. They've got to overload a site soon. Yes, there's Cypher utility on B, but just 2 players, and Dead Ink's Marshall to make the difference.
No molly.
18 seconds. This is getting really low.
Yeah, there's no molly to break the traps either, but again, Hazza, we've said it before, right? You give Enterprise a job to do, and they'll do it successfully. They take the site with little, in fact, no sort of casualties.
No damage.
It's incredible. Just shows you the prowess on this roster as the rest try to come through. Woo! And this is the thing though, Reborn and Sheriff do prove issues now and again. Can the 3 remaining try and win a round? I mean, 2 rifles in the mix on Lime and Patitech. Those guys can hit heads, and well, it looks like they're going to right here, right now. Only 2 lost in the round for Enterprise, and it's probably the 2 pistol players that you'd be happy to lose.
And Enterprise battle their way back from the end there. Nice shot, Kachao. But again, if we're going to be given anything to shout about, this has to come with some form of consistency. Spoke at length about the staying power of this team, keeping themselves in the top 2 with such a stacked field, especially in the final stage of EMEA. Qualifications banked early by teams like Mandatory, who failed to make it to the 2nd stage. Given more time to prepare and come in, it was a long road to get here, but they have endured. Now it's about showing what lessons you've learned from all of those series, because when you consider Enterprise on the other side, this is a team with ambitions of going to champs. So their own opportunity to put themselves a class above. And right now they're doing it. 11-3, I don't think you could ask for a more condemning scoreline.
Yeah, I think like what pistol rounds and Anticos can feel very 50-50, right? At the end of the day. I wonder what the timing for Reborn is after the pistol rounds. Is it maybe to be a little bit more proactive, since we've seen for the past couple of rounds them been pretty passive overall? Or is it to switch up and focus on that mid portion, which if you look towards the bodies right now has the heat map, it's definitely mid-focused.
Yeah, not to point the finger at individuals or anything, Hezekiah was so huge.
Yeah.
In moving the needle many around for Reborn before, and just looking out of sorts so far, it's his site under duress in this mixed investment from Reborn, and all in as far as they're concerned, but it leaves him with only a Sheriff. It's good enough for Batu. Takes the head of Lime, and while Kozi does answer back in kind through Art, there is still work to be done here for Enterprise.
And it looks like
Go deep to try and clear out Hezekiah. That one was on a plate, but can't find Kozi, and again made to rue the mistakes of a missed shot. Don't know where Dedenk's off to with this Bucky, but it's no place nice for him. Enterprise map point on the opening round of this grand final.
I think that just sums it up. That round, like you said, Enterprise has still got a lot to do, and then they go and do it. They go and clear secret, take the extra space that Reborn were maybe a little bit hesitant to as a comparison in the last half. And that's the difference between these two teams. As you said, it's the definition, it's the layers, it's the seasoning on the rounds that Enterprise always go for, thinking ahead and knowing that they need to take these fights and willingly doing it. It's just lovely stuff in the end. Nothing surprises them, and that's what I love the most.
Early A main exchange again, Prowlers traded and Hezekiah left behind on the periphery. The rest of Enterprise scaling with some intent towards this B site. Cypher util there, but they run it back in play.
Lame able to take over towards that back space. Players identified out of lane as they try and brawl for this. Enterprise, yeah, they know exactly what's coming, but are they prepared for Kachao? At the same time, you can see there is a late flank. Kaluri's got that covered, so it's 3v3 on site. That's the most worrying part. Players coming out, Kachao hits, so does the rest of Reborn. Spike on the ground, and Alluri now has to clutch up to win the map. Plenty of opportunities, sure, but you want it here and now. Utility to clear. Kachao low would take a body shot. Unfortunately for Alluri, he gives it up. The Enterprise were not ready for Kachao, that's your answer.
Confidence in the swing from Batu, goes flying out of backhauls there, but fortunately enough for him, Kachao is a safe pair of hands on this round. He's turned up to the grand final, where others have remained absent at points. So wallbang kill in the end as well, making the most of the heavy weapon pen there. And now Reborn do have another round, second gun round for them in this series, but once more we refer to consistency. You can't just rely on hero plays to bail you out against the best that Challengers has to offer. Enterprise taking that A main control for themselves. Magnum playing into a shotgun here, and with that, one of the first times we see them play 4v5.
Yeah, a bit frustrating. And again, this is now where I ask, are Reborn going to be prepared for the extra push? They are. They are well prepared, Hazza. Hitting the heads finally, but Patty taking Causey, giving a little bit of resistance, but it is only a little bit of resistance in the round. Reborn denying a spike for 2 rounds in a row will start to damage that economy.
First time they land back-to-back rounds since the first 2 rounds of this map. And it is, in fact, going to force the hand of Itapata and Shadow. A first Enterprise timeout in play. For just a moment there, I thought maybe there was a little bit of fight back going against the grain, but yeah, Reborn had the numbers, they had the rotation, and again, confidence in the calls, in the execution. That is exactly what is required to get past this Enterprise side.
I'm wondering, is it maybe a little bit too late in the adaptations, right? 1 round is all it takes for Enterprise now. And again, we hadn't put much importance on this for Reborn's sake, just because of it's their Instaban. They're playing against Enterprise, who happily picked it as soon as the veto came up first to get that 1-0 lead. But Reborn, for the most part, they haven't shown us any goods. We've seen glaring mistakes, and this recent round is probably the most or the best adaptation I've seen from Batu and Reborn as a whole.
Yeah, honestly, looking at how the timeline has gone, hindsight is 20/20, of course, but choosing to pick into attack on a map which you don't have very many reps on, in retrospect now, doesn't feel like the best idea, where defense could have sort of got them going. But again, if you're going to stoke a comeback, I suppose it's from this side, and you can only commend them for wanting to take the game to Enterprise on home turf.
Yeah, I
by
think
popping the overdrive in this otherwise a very sparing round for their economy.
Making sure to take all of the mid space. Obviously the Cypher trip just earmarks this spot. And already Batu looking to cover any water push. Has heard the steps. Enterprise with decisions to make at this moment in time.
Sure. I mean, they've gone up the guts and it's given them plenty of space. It's the classic round the world strat. They've already gone round the donut once.
Look at window, look at mid.
And as you say, already there's a chance maybe for Kachao to get in behind here, but the utility will have duly noted him. Magnum still laying in wait with a Phantom, and while Kachao does get a kill through spam, there are numbers here to pressure him. There's no easy way out from this position.
Especially with Alluri and double doors.
Spotted.
Yeah, and well,
here's
there's
the
the
follow-up.
kill. Yeah, that's going to be a big pressure relief now for Enterprise. They can pick where they want to end. They pick B, but Hazel's good utility here.
Oh, yeah, but it's a 4 versus 3, Kyra, and they've got 2 rifles to bring to the mix. Here comes the ult from Alluri. Nightfall in, catches Batu. He'll spam away, but all the way through is going to be Lime, and then Reborn eventually do clean house. It looked scary for just a moment, but they'll settle for a 6th there.
Yeah, it's well played in the end from Reborn. At the same time, though, I'm a little bit worried. I think with Kachao, right, such a young gun, he's going to be eager to go and push, go and take those fights, and yeah, he gets the first excellently played, but I think at that point, he should just full retreat. Listen, guys, we know that they're in towards that arc position. I've got the information. Maybe take a little bit more of a reserve position that Enterprise have to re-clear, use utility. And in the end, he gives a rifle over and puts more pressure on the defenders remaining. Seems if Enterprise still continuing with this mid portion again. They've got information that they want to action off the back of that last round.
Reborn in 2 minds here about whether they want to give up the space or not. You can see that through Batu. He's fallen back to the A-Link position now. Seas drops in, catches a few targets. Spam is unbelievable from Batu. 3 players with no visual at all. Enterprise do answer back. There's a couple of kills for them here. In fact, Alluri gets another before he goes down. So a 1 versus 2 in the wake of Lime. I think if Reborn find a way to lose this, it's going to be such an unfortunate turn of circumstance.
No, 100%. 19-11 is Lime. If he wins this cleanly, I was going to say that he's well in for the 1-on-1. Not the case. And right now, Hazard, this is starting to worry me a little bit. Just more than the fact that we've already had an Enterprise timeout, and we're at 12-7.
It comes back to what I was talking about before. You saw it in the OT games they had in the first series, the maps that we've seen between these teams in general. Enterprise can take a lead from the opening half. It's just as the game grows longer, as Reborn get themselves bedded in, find a foothold, that's where Enterprise start to struggle in these historical matchups. And now, it does still feel like a bit of a gulf. 5 rounds is a long way to go.
Oh yeah.
It's just pistols on this one, but something we're going to have to keep a track of as the series progresses. And Enterprise, with the ultimates that they've got, hoping they can bait some out on the other side to make that final round a little easier.
Enterprise trying to use the macro to their advantage, and they have done so. And Magnum awaits Dead Ink. So with that lockdown invested, you earmark the space, and that spike should have a runway to get down. But I think this rotate's been pretty early so far from Reborn, and just essentially allows the rifles to be picked up.
Yeah, still a back wall for them to hug here. Cosmic Divide does get dropped in, but Riazi's already crossed the line. Drawn in the sand by Enterprise, and it's a heavy investment from themselves for this to just be an eco. I mean, if they were able to win it on pistols, great, but now started to throw the kitchen sink at things, and it's not starting to head their way any longer.
Yeah, got to be able to do this post
forcing back against this main aggression, like you say, in the post. Patatech playing with stars and a flank coming in. Ozzy lands another shot, drops in the run it back. It is a full send from Enterprise at this point. Point of no return.
No
Defuse is denied for just a moment. Hezekor, the final target, and there you have it. Kozzy will close it up. It looked a little rough towards the end, but Enterprise get through.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the Enterprise tagline. It looks a little bit rough, but they still win out. I think for the most part, the thing that I worry about Enterprise is they allowed some of those players to have extra rounds to play with, extra rounds to wake up. I'm excited for this map too, and we'll see exactly what Reborn bring.
Yeah, look, that final round felt like a slippery slope. By the time a couple of those ults had been committed, you just had to go all in, and for Enterprise, they'll be thankful that it comes out in their favor, of course. Plenty more maps to go in this best of 5. They have managed to win on the Instaban of Reborn, but those final few rounds do show signs of life, which is certainly promising. We'll see what the analysts make of it.
There was a moment where that could have gone incredibly badly for Reborn. I'm quite glad for them that they managed to get themselves into that game just a little bit towards the end. Yes, it doesn't result in anything meaningful in terms of the series, but at the very least, some momentum, some confidence may have been gained by those few round wins towards the end. 13-7 is a convincing scoreline, and honestly, Enterprise Esports seem to be the only team that can make Reborn bleed like that. They're the only team that we've seen have like a 9-round differential at any point in the game to this team. Is that worth something, MP?
Absolutely, that is worth something. Obviously, Enterprise couldn't quite close it out in that fashion that they did in Ascent. That could have been easy 13-3 here, but on the opposing side, you have Kachao. I think that's where they found the advantages to come back. Kachao being once more the individual, creating chances for Reborn. I mean, hero plays coming through, and how many times Kachao found a 3-piece right there? I think it was round 16, finding that 4K as well to make sure that Reborn stayed in that match. But in the end, it's not quite enough. But to me, it's crazy how good Enterprise were on that first half, the initial half of the defensive side, and they did exactly what I kind of wanted them to do. Either play aggressive in terms of find those picks deep in the mains that they did on the last round, I think it was round 12, or play passive, play retakes, play those floods that they did quite often, especially in round 11, and a great first half from the side of Enterprise.
I'll piggyback on both points you made there, NP. On the one hand, yes, Enterprise went into this one with a clear plan on how they wanted to be approaching this, knowing how to shut down Reborn. This is what we kind of expect coming into this, and no slow start from them at all. Cool. But on the other hand as well, MP, you mentioned Reborn having these individuals having those crazy moments, getting them out of trouble, starting to build up some momentum. Yes, you cannot rely on them to do that consistently. But they can do that consistently. They can bring up these upsetting rounds that can build up momentum. And in the words of Itapada himself a couple of years ago, you cannot underestimate the power of momentum. And Reborn could definitely find their way back into that because their individuals are simply that good.
Yeah, I think that is kind of the case. That's a case with some of the kind of younger teams that we see a lot of the time, is that when you have 5 players who on their own could win a 1v4 or 1v5, look, no round is ever completely out of your control, and I do think that is where Reborn shine a lot of the time, is just by completely shutting down, by brute force teams. Enterprise Esports, it's a lot harder to get that done against, but I do think it is possible to do so, and obviously we're moving to Reborn's first map pick next. Every map has a good win rate for both teams, so look, we might not need to put too much weight into whose map pick is whose. It's more about who starts on what side, I think, for each of these maps. So heading into map 2, it is Reborn that are down 1 map. It's not usually that way when Enterprise Esports come up against a tough opponent, but we'll see if that means anything in the grand scheme of this series very shortly after this break. Hello everybody and welcome back to Challengers EMEA Stage 3. We've just gotten started with the grand finals here between Enterprise Esports and Reborn. And Reborn not off to a flashy start, but hopefully they can get back in with their map pick of Haven, MP.
Yeah, and interesting, I think you kind of highlighted the starting sides for these teams, especially in Haven, but for Enterprise, they're starting on defensive side for the first 4 maps. For Reborn, I think that's a great thing, especially when we look at the Haven that they played against each other previously. Enterprise were able to find only 1 round on the defensive side. Reborn just completely storm over that side. For me, I'm looking at Lime to be that difference maker for the side of Enterprise, to make sure that they have better start on the defensive side. Lime already had a great first map, great with the operator. You can't really let Reborn get out of control, because they will take that and they will run over the map, Paulos.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear both teams really like having the tempo on their side on this map, right? Attack seems to be where they thrive the most. Sure, there are some maps in the past. If you also remember the playoffs match of Reborn versus Job Life here, sure, they won more defensive rounds and attacking rounds and still won the map. That's beside the point. They feel confident on attack, and that is simply because they like taking space together. Kachow, Dead Ink, moving in as a unit. You've got the fast assistance coming through from the rest of the squad as well in terms of the retakes if necessary. And Enterprise look to do the same thing here. A lot of, again, very similar to what we see from Pearl. Wide open spaces, so we'll be seeing a lot of, you know, grouped effort in taking up space, and I'm sure we'll be seeing Enterprise on the defensive side trying to disrupt the attack from their opponents as much as they can.
Yeah, I think this one is a real litmus test for, you know, if this is going to be any different from the last series, what is going to have changed? If Enterprise do manage to have a much better Haven than the last time they played against Reborn here, it could all be a wash. If Reborn managed to have just as dominant of that attacking side, as well as, you know, even better defensive side, then we could really see this turn into one hell of a series. So hopefully, Hazo and Cairo, that is the case. We'll find out now.
Yeah, it's for certain now that Reborn have made a case for themselves in this grand final, as they have skin in the game when it comes to Haven. They beat Enterprise here last time 13-8. They are undefeated on it so far in this EMEA stage. On the other side, Enterprise need to show us that they can be that dominant authority, and that there really is as big of a gap as it felt like there was at times between the two teams on Pearl.
Yeah, I think the Enterprise need to restore, I don't say restore faith in a way, but like, yeah, it make us feel confident again. For Reborn,
sure,
they just need to keep capitalizing on that momentum. They start on attack on Haven, a very momentum-based map. So this is the perfect time to do it. Make sure that you can make us feel confident on either of these sides.
Reborn coming in on that attack side again as well. We saw its issues on Pearl, but Haven, for them, feels like home, as I was saying. 3 times played and 3 wins taken. A lobby control attempted, at least early, but already a couple players flash up on the radar. Enterprise know exactly where this one starts.
Same time, though, Enterprise have taken that mid spot. Anybody tries to reclear mid, they're going to be met with bullets, or reclear A, you're going to be met with bullets. At the same time, Riazi has done well. Seems as if Reborn are still making up their mind on where they want to go, and if they hit C, looks as if Patitech's already ahead of the curve.
Yeah, and it's in this mid-round again where Enterprise strike. You can already see the reaction. Reclear 2 players through a lobby. Kozi left behind in mid, and Patitech should now start to feel a little hot under the collar. Repositions in the close corner, C-Long, 4 targets heading his way. Yeah,
this is going to be difficult. Should Reborn go to clear it, they do, but they don't realise Kozi's here as well. He strikes, gets the heads of 3 players somehow, and now leaves in a 2 versus 1. Hezekiah, who, let's be honest, map 1, didn't necessarily have the best start to this series.
No. He didn't set the world on fire, but we know how talented this guy can be. Walks over towards A, but a footstep's going to be heard here. Misplayed it.
Yeah, completely. And Lime's on the case. Rounds the corner, and this should be as easy as clicking the head it is in the end. 1-0 for Enterprise.
Yeah, frustrating conclusion there, actually, because I think there was certainly legs to that clutch for Hezekiah, but the main star of the round has to be Kozi. First kill expected, second does well, the third is just audacious. And that's why we have been so excited about the talent that this kid brings.
Spike down.
For those who haven't been following his story, the Romanian youngster only turned 16 into stage 1,
Yeah.
stage 2, something along those lines, right? So he was ineligible to play at this level, let alone VCT. Plenty of years ahead for him, I'm sure. And Enterprise, this is just standard procedure. Rifles into pistols, and second round follow-up expected.
Hot knife, butter, all those superlatives, and in the end.
Meat grinder.
Yeah, meat grinder. Yeah, name another one, Hazard, go on.
You put me on the spot.
I'm sorry, mate.
Tender riser.
Yeah, there you go. 4 kills from Patatek, lovely stuff from him. He's 2 off of his ultimate, but Causey, most importantly, has to run it back online.
This goes here.
Does, and makes you wonder what Enterprise want to try and do with this, because so far there has not really been a clause for retake on any of these rounds. They've got good information on the pistol. It was clearing out A and setting up for a C hold. Window of opportunity for it here, of course. Look how early Lime gets into sewers, and he's just take the head of Batu clean off with the Outlaw.
Yeah, and if you're Reborn, you realistically want that A space right now. If you lose that, it's going to be easy to make decisions for Enterprise, and it feels like already those decisions are starting to turn in the head.
I'm glad that at this stage in the round as well, Reborn don't make a rash decision. They don't just blindly commit into this C hold, which Enterprise were prepared for. IGL taking a backseat, Cypher util down, backline exposed. Can he guide them in the right direction? Luri's face checking A long. Double dips with the drone to re-clear it, but doesn't see any player presence.
He's expending a lot of
In fact,
utility.
he spends half his utility belt trying to collect information, and Reborn are still scaling behind this.
Has decided to leave the A site, thinking that it's a fake, and this is not the site you want to try and retake into. A run it back would help that though, and that's maybe why the setup is as it is for Enterprise.
Yeah, and I think this is what they were playing for. As you can see, Lime has a stun, Patatek a blind, there's a molly in there as well. So many tools for them to retake. On the other side, Reborn just the one stun on Kachao, and it looks like he's trying to get active.
Yeah, trying to play forward, and it's already caught one. That's very, very quick shooting. At the same time, though, Enterprise still to really take, or start this retake, as they do. Riazi grabs Magnum, but the runner back activated, as is Causey, as is Enterprise. We need to see Riazi clutch, and he can't do it. Bonus converted, and it's lovely stuff.
Enterprise just had so much stopping power in that retake. I highlighted it on the utility belts, but you're relying on one stun essentially from Kachao to dissuade the entire offensive. Brilliant first shot from him. Didn't quite spot the hat of Magnum as he was jumping in heaven, but bonus is absolutely huge for the chances of Enterprise here. And as the desk was, detailing it, this is a watershed moment in the series. Lose this map and things really spiral out of control.
But it feels as if you pick Haven, right? Like, I understand that Enterprise have a strong map pool, there's no doubt about that. But you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and actually, to be honest, maybe that is a little bit of an over-exaggeration from me, because I think the fracture for Enterprise isn't nailed on in this map veto, despite they've picked it. Haven's still a strong second choice as it's queued up right now. So we'll just have to see, but it's almost the manner in which these rounds are playing out, I think, that is the point of most concern.
Oh, Lime still walks away with 2.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, it is. And that's the frustrating part for the Reborn fans. And right now, Enterprise are doing everything that they need to as the players send it through. That's just Kachao's Sheriff that's winning them this round. Get him into this position. Magnum from behind. Yeah. Kachao needs to be careful. I think he's realised it now, and unfortunately realised it too late. Enterprise 4 in a row.
Just, Cairo, just.
Yeah.
That one did not feel comfortable at all. Kachao is just a phenom at times, really. And we get to see it from his perspective here as well. A drive-by on Kozzy and just a slight lapse in awareness, which costs him the conversion there. I mean, Enterprise fall by though. Odin, all of the tools. Reborn have been very direct in these rounds. Again, I don't see this high-level macro from their attack rounds so far.
Just if Enterprise are going for that mid-re clear, they would be right to do so with that drone being used. Patitech trying not to find himself in an awkward position, and Enterprise is on the front foot. Yeah, they'll find a kill for that. It feels as if every decision has a value, has a meaning to it. Where is Magnum gone?
Look, they've even tucked Magnum away here in the window. Bit of a timing.
Oh.
Batu's walked up mid. And Magnum's going searching on A. 2 players on the site.
Cole,
that's the spike as well. This is going to get really awkward, Cairo.
Yeah, Magnum's heard it. It's a TP on towards site just to make sure. Batu has found Kozzy on the other side though, and Magnum walks up at the perfect time. Can't deny the spike plan, but at least denies it and bringing the player off of it.
Down A.
And yeah, has it. I mean, you brought it spot on. This is maybe a bit of a timing, a bit of a disaster.
30 seconds left.
But it all comes back to the fact that everything has a meaning, everything has a purpose, and Reborn haven't found the way to counter this.
Enterprise playing with intent. And for Reborn, as you say, the bigger picture, just not quite coming together right now. Batu incredibly vocal from this position in trying to inspire something in his teammates, and this is a conversation that I want to come back to because as we saw the quote from Lev in the build-up at the start of the day, he is this emotional leader. They only play good when they're happy, was what he said. And for me, that's really worrying because if you're so mood dependent, when things don't go well, how do you bring it back from the brink, you know? And I think in this round, there is still some awareness from Reborn of where those gaps are. You saw Hezekiah use the ultimate to dodge sewers because he knew the clear from the double duelist was specifically through long. But just the timings that Enterprise are getting right now are ridiculous. They know too well what the game plan is, I think.
I think that is the issue. I don't think Reborn will be the team that's going to reinvent itself series to series, right? Especially not during this week. I think the kind of Challengers EMEA weeks can be really taxing on a team. Reborn so far seem to be the team who have the most concrete fundamentals in my opinion, and they do well to that's how they probably drags them further forward in these Challengers weeks, right? These EMEA weeks. As for Enterprise, it's just another beast. You've got a coaching staff there that love to prepare for you, and a team that have been drilled in terms of what they need to do map to map. And that's how you find yourself at 5-0, especially on a map like Haven or even Ascent, right? That will be so fundamental heavy.
I mean, this campaign for Enterprise has basically been fantastic beasts and where to find them because they've played so many different teams. Reborn are one of only 5 opponents to have taken a win. Enterprise 46 in the meantime, not unique teams, but series overall, and Magnum wants to make it 47. Batu drops in Garage, and Magnum gets another hat off his head, and he's right back in and ready to fight again. 3 already before the round is done, and Lime cleans it up. A open and close case, Cairo. It's a flawless from Enterprise.
I think the question on everybody's mind is not who can beat Enterprise in Tier 2, it's who in Tier 1 is going to be the big issues for Enterprise. Who can Enterprise beat when it gets to there? They've already shown us that they can beat the likes of Giant X and your kind of bottom half of the table. But when it starts to get to that top 6, your Fanatics, your Heretics, Vitality and the likes, how does Enterprise able to challenge up in that neck of the woods?
That's what we're waiting to find out, you know, where do we place them? Because as you say, the GX that they played will be a different GX in the coming stage, should they not make it directly to playoffs. They played the old version of Foot. KC have shown improvements in recent days, so who knows? For now, it's Lime knocking them all down.
There.
Quick double out of the op. And Reborn not offered even a lick of luck in these situations. They've left a Hezekiah behind in Garage to clean things up, pick up the pieces. But it's slipping through their fingers right now, this series.
It's slowly but surely. You hit 7 on defense for Enterprise. And then any other score than a great advantage would feel like a chance missed. It seems as if right now Reborn, though, have got a chance to hold things down, but I was going to say that should have been a kill. Reality! What is going on? 2 on 1. What has Batu got for us? Spike is beginning to tick away, and Batu's killed Patty. Knows exactly where the last remaining player is, and Alluri is stuck at. The first round for Reborn comes through the mistake and maybe over-eagerness of Enterprise.
Yeah, 5 versus 3. Well, 3v5 for Reborn, I should say. And like you mentioned, it was the round slipping away from Reborn, but an Enterprise that just can't afford to be complacent in those situations. Little bit of an overheat from Lime, I think, past his collat. See it again. Right place, right time, but then here, just with the spacing, no opportunity for Kozzy to trade that. And having eyes bigger than their stomach in this situation, it's just too much to digest. A follow-up round win, however, would very quickly silence that doubt, and you can already see Kozzy dealing damage to Riazi's headwear through the mid-box.
I think there's an idea about this lock towards sewers. Made it maybe an identification. Lime denied any opportunity to get that kill. Importance on the middle of the map, but also got to have eyes on Batu's position, and Alluri's dealt with that. So pressure alleviated, Hazza, and now we look towards the B site.
Yeah, some pressure out the valve, as you can see. Reborn on the B site. They've got Hezekiah in grass. He could play spoiler to this, but he gets spotted, and he's so low.
It's an advantage for Reborn and Post, but you look at Alluri and he's already brought it back even. Space being taken by Reborn on the C part, but when does Magnum move?
Still 10 seconds on this recon dart as well, so little utility.
Oh, it's disgusting, just timing.
Yeah, on the opposite side of the timing, and now Alluri is walking into a crossfire. Dart comes up for him, but not much left to do here.
Certainly not. 10 bullets in, unfortunately for Alluri. He gets caught off guard. That's 2 rounds in a row. I could feel that Enterprise maybe not accounting for all the information that they had, maybe not joining up. I think these players are very good at playing on their own, but so are Reborn once they start to heat up into it, and that's why we're going to see a timeout come through from the coaching staff of Enterprise.
Yeah, this is the perfect point just to make a juncture in the game, break it up a little bit, stop Reborn from gathering momentum, because that is where they play best. 2/3 of the way through the half, and 2 rounds in a row for them. This team has so much history, Cairo. I think it's important that we mention that during this grand final. Itapata, Shadow, Magnum, all part of the Apex team, which basically went all the way except for winning the only game that they needed to. And that's what we're waiting to see for this roster, really. How far can they go when the time comes and they arrive at VCT play-ins?
I think that's it, right? Like, we know that Enterprise has quality on it from the likes of, even just players on their lonesome, right? Never mind talking about the quality and the history that's been on Enterprise. Lime on his own, been about tier 2 on some of the best rosters. Focus on towards the Mouse stint now, Enterprise himself.
The best rosters to never make it. I think that's a point to raise. Of course, you've got Magnum and Patty now with champs experience, but Reborn the test in front of them, and a quick A fake through the Hunter's Fury. I like this. Something different out of the strat book.
Yeah, it is. And Enterprise have fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I fell for him, and I didn't know if Kachal was going to go forward. He hasn't.
Ooh. I mean, the spike has been caught at a bit of an impasse. It's stuck in Garage, yet to cross as the rest of the team are grouping up. It's an open C site, a full 5-player rotation called by Enterprise. This is a brilliant shout out of the timeout from the Turks. But they've got to convert a post plant now, Cairo. And yesterday against Job Life, especially on Ascent, really struggled from these positions. 5 versus 4 definitely alleviates that.
Yeah, big kill onto Luri. Got to be looking at Causey as being the real enigma, the real engine in the Enterprise retake. And the run it back has been used. That's why we're looking at him. And Reborn holding on to Garage, have denied any opportunity. Playing on the front foot. And Lime running for the hills with his operator. There was just a timeout, and it seems as if Luri has not found what it takes to follow the game plan, to follow exactly what the coaches have been saying. Now, Reborn want to hunt this last remaining player, make the defense economy hurt, especially when you look at Causey on only 400 credits.
Yeah, it's the over-rotation which somewhat cost Enterprise in the end there, and actually the timeout offering 60 seconds for Reborn to check back in with their own coaching staff, make a brilliant play through the ultimate. Yes, the Hunter's Fury didn't net a kill, but it set up Kachow nicely to drag their attention. And it's actually that garage space which they took and held on to for quite some time before planting the spike that ends up winning the round for them.
I mean, that's it right at the end of the day. Enterprise have already hit 6. There's not much Reborn can do about that, but they can try and give a course correction on Haven. Something for us to think about. Dead Ink finds Lime, the operating player on Enterprise, who was 12 and 4. Now,
has been dropped early. You can see Enterprise walking down into sewers, trying to look for a scuffle here. And they're probably going to walk into Riazi. In fact, Riazi is the one who just batters them back. Yes, Patichek has an answer. I'm not sure how much he knows about Kachow. Definitely alerted to him now. Trade on the blinds, but Kachow, the quicker to it, takes him down. And with Batu layered in the backlines as well, this is another perfectly executed round from Reborn. Those signs of life, stepping it up even further. And while Magnum does get out on the A side before the play happens, Dead Ink is ready for it.
Enterprise look like a fish out of water. Reborn look as if they've started after that timeout perfectly. 4 in a row so far, and the timing's maybe going against Enterprise, sure, but for the most part, Reborn constructing these rounds to the best of their ability.
Just looks like Enterprise have stalled out on 6. The question being, can they find anything more to bring an advantage into that second half? And is there any momentum bearing from it? Kozi already felled, relieved of his duties early on this eco. So most likely you're looking to the last round to make the difference here, Cairo. Yes, Enterprise moving on to the attack, but Reborn just showing the level of play that they can offer for you here. This is exactly what we wanted for them. No one wants to see a whitewash grand final, and with this team showing they can already do it in best of 5s, only losing a map on average, 2 from the 3 appearances. This is what you expect from them.
Patek giving us something to shout about. Kind of Luri as well, as Kachow hangs in the wings of C. Playing on that Judge, he's had to use his pistol for long range and ends up being the Reborn to find 5 within 1. I thought we all thought that it should have been 7. It's all come from, realistically, that one round where we got the 3k from Riazi and the 2k from Batu.
Since Reborn have found the breakthrough, the vibes in their camp have skyrocketed, and as it has been said several times already, it's that kind of environment that allows them to thrive in these games. On top of that, though, not just talking about external factors, the calling has been so much better. It feels like their understanding of how Enterprise want to rotate and move through the map has been adjusted to. Magnum with the same setup as we saw on that heavy A play. It's a similar situation, but he's here to defend it this time.
Magnum trying to play in front of his own utility, and that's just giving an entry in towards the C site. Fancied himself, and there's also has it a guard dog in the back lines for Reborn.
Kachow finding his man and again hunting for a little bit more. Going deep to get it. It's Alluri who will add a little salt to the wound there. Patek's own teammate felled by the ultimate, brings it into a 3-on-3 situation. And looking at this retake, Deadink has the Waylay ult to stall it out and has done so. Only one target hit.
Well, the boys are already out, the one towards the site, but do they have enough time, Hazard?
Looks as if there might be just enough left in the tank if Lime can get on this defuse early, but he has to now. Pete comes through from Batu. Info wasn't there for Alluri, so it will pass them by. And with that in mind, a 6-6 half is what we end up with. Deadlock between the teams. It is no more than what Enterprise deserve, because Reborn have done a fantastic job to get themselves back in this one.
At 6-6, you could be mistaken for what was an even half, Hazard, but it was only even because both sides showed us a 6-round string. But can they go one better on the attack? That's the question we have for these two. It's even coming into this next one, but you can't help but feel you'd favour Enterprise on the attack.
Yeah, we saw the timeout from Enterprise come through in round 8, but did nothing to break the momentum of Reborn. Another check back in with the coaches at the half. You see the added benefit it had given the now defending team. So there's a bit of a contact piece set up for A short. Magnum diligent not to walk in solo, but there is a queue of players ready to walk onto B, and Reborn are prepared.
There they are. I mean, the utility, the flashes seem somewhat decent. Hezekiah trying to walk through the smoke, disguised, not known about. Enterprise need to be careful. Mistake amongst the grass, and unfortunately Enterprise have got what it takes to rid it, exterminate, and Riazi, who's shown us the goods time and time again. At 10 and 9, a decent performance in the first half. 1 versus 5 might feel a little bit out of his ballpark just because of who he's going up against, the team he's going up against. They begin to chase him down, and it's a flawless start to the second half.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff from Enterprise, and I think you can very quickly put the conclusion of that first half, the second quarter, I guess you can call it if we're Americanizing things, with all these hydration breaks and stuff these days. Yeah, very quickly you can put it behind you because they're onto the attack side now. They're running this Phoenix Neon, and it's Lime and Kozzy that are performing best. If they can drag them kicking and screaming through this, there should be no problem. But Kachao with a Sheriff in mid, and a lot of bodies here for Reborn.
Yeah, and Enterprise have a lot of rifles though, Hazard. They have a lot of weaponry to deal with, an arsenal that you would not want to second guess. So already we start to look at Enterprise at 7-6 and their ability to reset. It's another reason why we really favour them heading into this VCT play-in stage. Got to think of the fact that like they've been able to reset and maps gone by. I mean, think of the last time that these two played. Reborn won that first map, and Enterprise didn't even look as if they were up to scratch.
One enemy remaining.
A lot of this game, in my eyes, is Enterprise given the chance to make a statement, make people fear them again, because we know how good this roster can be. And the same is said for Reborn and how much they've come on as a team over time, but Enterprise should really be in a different bracket entirely, just with the experience that they have, the proven quality at this level. And taking 2 out of the 3 available EMEA titles in the year, back on form after that slump in schedule, I think, is exactly what you would want to see from the Northeast champs.
I think the crazy thing though, right, is like everyone's been arguing that the Enterprise have had a slump in schedule, they've not had the best split too, but realistically, right, they lost what, 1 game in a 3-team group and then had to sit out. Like it's not the worst sort of record.
True. The swap to GSL has been fantastic this stage, honestly, and long may that continue as we head to last chance qualifiers, something which neither of these teams will have to rely on, thankfully. Batu, however, can depend on the utility framework and support of his team in Garage to get out of a sticky situation. Riazi, in the meantime, is right into the Badger's hole, as it were. He's burrowed his way up A long.
And unfortunately, he's not even got a kill for his efforts, trying to play a little bit risky. Reborn into backside though, has it?
Yeah, there are plenty of bodies here to try and dissuade this, and Enterprise actually do find the bulk of them. Sheriff of Kashao, always an issue. There's one, but it doesn't get any better, unfortunately. And Batu's Phantom, all bark, no bite right now. Just a single kill, and actually with Lime being so low, maybe there was cause for concern, but Enterprise get past it, and well, looking at the timeline, that would be a bonus converted.
Yeah, there is, and it's an equal round for Reborn. I think as well, like, just seeing Kachal, 14 and 13, everyone's heralding him as like one of the next players up as well. Another duelist that's been found in Turkey, where it always seems if we find one year on year. But how do you compare him up against the likes of Kozi?
Oh, I was just about to say it's the mini classic Turkish Challenger League sought by ACS. There's your next best player. Kachao definitely checks out. I think a very different player to Kozi, for sure. We're seeing, at least in terms of roles, Lime picking up the Neon a lot more. We know he can flex across Sentinel, Smokes, Anchor. He was a brilliant Yoru player before, but to talk about these two, or specifically Kachao, I think, kind of reminds me a bit of 11, just in that there is still that element to his game that he can overheat a little bit. I think he needs an in-game leader that's going to be really strict with that discipline to make sure it's instilled in him, so you are seeing the best from him on every round, but such a mercurial talent, as you like to say, and I think absolutely will go toe-to-toe with a few more of these names in VCT.
Do you think for Kachao, maybe for his next step in development, maybe it's like agent pool?
Potentially, yeah, potentially. I think what we've seen from him so far, it's mostly been, you know, the Neon, bit of Jet as well, from memory.
30 seconds left.
Magnum, the second layer here, is Reborn are rotating towards the C site, and actually Phantom going to get picked up, so we can shelve that conversation for just a moment. Hezekiah the one holding on to it, and Kachao full belt to make this scary.
Go, go, go!
I just don't know if Hezekiah's going to get in on time. The Sheriffs once again finding the heads. And Hezekiah, while he's not got the best stats, you never want to count him out. He's here on the steps of the remaining two. And unfortunately cannot connect. Enterprise up to 10, double digits.
Yeah, Hezekiah was arriving late there, but again, you see that Phantom, that one gun get in play, and all of a sudden there's half a chance. Kachao good for another off the Sheriff, a facet of his game which we've explored throughout this stage. So effective. but Enterprise have a player to match you pound for pound across the full 5, and now we're seeing the timeout come through. I think this is a decent point to invest it, because like what we saw in the first half, Reborn can't afford the game to get away from them as it did Enterprise.
Yeah. I think like for at this point in time, the second map probably most important, especially when you think it's actually Reborn that's positioned this map in the second spot in the veto. They picked it, they said, right guys, this is going to be our comeback, and it's just not looked like it. I mean, we knew that Enterprise were good on it, but there's yeah, it's just not been the best. And I think as well, there's one player that I really want to identify on Reborn's side is one that I want to see more from, and it's actually Hezekiah has it.
Yeah, I think so. I was massively impressed with him before. But talking about the map a little more, as you sort of said, Haven, to me at least, neutral ground between these two teams. Enterprise found 7 rounds on their attack last time they faced. It was just their defender's side where they really struggled. So the fact that they've already got that out of the way made things look a lot better coming into this next half. The pistol, of course, alleviating further issue. And now the gun round between the two. Op out for Deadink, haven't seen this in a while. He's on B, yet to be tested. It is the Cypher setup of A under the microscope with Batunax behind it.
Lime, though, seems to be positioned in more of a luck spot. Has heard the steps, and with Riazi re-clearing, that's probably the biggest issue. Enterprise worried about a flank, but that spike is down, has it?
Yeah, time to set up in post-plant as well, and then you start to look at the utility. Patitek's paranoia is all they've really got to slow this down.
It's a good flash from Causey. Batu, though, has found the Phoenix, and one more. Hezekiah now in the kill feed. Patitek can't get more than one. So Reborn, make it a 3-round gap.
And honestly, I'm super impressed with Reborn's approach to this round. It's one of the first times on their defender's side where we actually see them push out beyond the fog of war. It's Riazi stepping from Garage to claim the life of Lime in middle. And these are the sort of risks that they just weren't taking previously, but it's calculated from the information that they have. Brilliant individual round from Batu as well. And the signs of life which we need. They've made the right adaptation. It's now whether Enterprise are going to respond with something themselves.
Early spam. Magnum able to dodge it. The Odin not finding the value. In fact, there's a mixed buy for Reborn in the sense of there's an operator, there's an Odin. It's a difficult round to try and maneuver if you're Enterprise. The C site looks like it's the best option, but it feels as if that's the setup for Reborn. They want to play a retake towards that site, especially with how the traps are set up.
Currently looking like a 4-1 split. Enterprise right on the front doorstep, keeping it easy. Batu on site, no recourse here, playing solo. With Hezekiah dropped off the shoulder, it's a lovely entry by Lime.
Yeah, now you can see that the spike makes its way on with the safety there, but Reborn are ready for the retake. But look at Riazi, he's so late here, Hazza.
Yeah, incredibly late, only now just stepping into the realms of A-Link, as the spike will have been gone for 10-15 seconds up until that point. Aggressive stance held by Enterprise, fighting on site. Deadink gets one on the refract back, and with that 4-on-4, Lime, this first line that has to stop them from getting in. It's the line in the sand which Enterprise have drawn, and they're looking to hold on to it with a vice grip, but it continues to loosen as Reborn barge their way back through. Alluri unaware of the position of Kachao, who'd already crossed to the platform, and with that, the backside control is enough for them to retake. Enterprise kept on double digits as Reborn closed the gap down to 2.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know what Enterprise are doing. They feel unsettled in the way that the positions are in front of the box on C. I think you can even see like Lime trying to run back. I mean, Deadink gets a lovely entry into the round, but I mean, just not prepared for the flood backside, and that's so surprising because it feels like a very basic port of call for a retake.
I think that Reborn are doing a great job at reading the rhythm of these retake situations. Enterprise shrinking in stature with that aggressive CT hold on C, which otherwise would have derived quite a lot of value for them if Reborn wanted to just brute force it. But yeah, Batu goes down. Allows it to be recovered. You can see here Enterprise trying to make their way into A this time. It's another 4-1 push, but Magnum, going to be super late through middle. I mean, so much damage from the utility and spam.
It's Magnum through middle though that you need to be watching, and he's managed to find himself a pick with that spike going in.
To chase things up through A-Link actually, but he is expected here. It was Hezekor holding on with the Odin, and that seems to be his good luck charm right now. Kozi attempts to skew things back in their favor, but Riazi is the one to walk away with a quad kill curtain call on the operator. So just the one round now from making this a tied game, Cairo, and I've got to say, Enterprise just look lethargic in their approach, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what Enterprise are up to. It feels as if someone's like maybe put a sleeping pill in their drink or something like that, because they're just falling asleep at the wheel. That's a terrible analogy, I apologise, but they're falling asleep at the wheel anyway. That's the point I wanted to get across.
Yeah. Looking like me after this cast, getting ready to watch the England game, bro. Honk me.
Hey, listen, I did the Scotland-Haiti game, that's all I'm saying.
No, I did too. I fell asleep, woke up, and they actually won. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? But we did not get out of the group, unfortunately.
No, you didn't. As Enterprise struggled to do in Stage 2. But they're here now. And our Stage 2 winners grow round by round. That title defense looking a little more likely step by step. 3 successful retakes, Cairo. And it's what we were talking about. Knowing when to take those timings back in, giving Enterprise as much space as they're happy to. And the question is here, what is the adjustment?
I mean, in terms of the adjustment for Enterprise, I think that the thing that they're massively struggling with, and we can both see that, is post plants. So they're getting the spike into post, there's not an issue there, but Reborn are letting them, and we really need to see Enterprise doing better in terms of how they take on these posts.
So an operator out for Lime this time, trying to match Riazi, and is able to take him down in that opening exchange. Starts up his account for this round, it's huge.
Yeah.
The info lost, and Reborn will have to be so much more proactive to find the same kind of value now.
I think for Enterprise, they can stop, wait, see if there's a reaction from Reborn. The reaction right now is 3 towards A. That's due to the fact that Deadink has taken up C long.
Yep. And that's got to be the focal point, because he has walked the length here. And it's offered a lot of relief now for the rest of the team to set up nicely. Lime fires away another shot. All of this is just a fake. He doesn't want to commit with the operator. But Kachau's going to chase him down, and so goes 4-on-4, and hey, Deadink is still to be routed out of C-Long.
It's not the worst loss in the world, but Deadink now takes a much more reserved, conservative position on C-Long, identified through Patitek. I thought it was Patitek instead. I actually think it was Hezekor trying to support his teammate. And losing the run it back could be an issue, but at least Deadink identified, can't get a hold of, and Kozi does at least eliminate Kachau. Players fallen by the wayside for Reborn, and it's just issue after issue. Players not realising the position they're in. A 3-on-1 which Deadink cannot even get started. Are these players just having a little bit of head loss?
No, I don't know. For me, that's just Enterprise having acute awareness of where those vulnerabilities sit. The fact they didn't have any long control, they were fully through Garage on the execution. Lime, brilliant distraction towards A again. And yeah, just looking at it, it was quite funny. Hezekor altered to try and support, cancelled. The cancel stopped Kozi from looking in the corner. But once he was smoked off, I mean, the operator just redundant in the round. Really not a difference maker at all.
The scaling nice from Enterprise, trying to not allow anybody to have value through an operator. But it's actually a judge that Deadink's picked up instead. It's choice weaponry, sure, but Hezekor is able to get himself on towards Magnum Kachao as well, combining, making them pay. Enterprise cannot get into the A site. Reborn set up.
Yeah, a complete tempo shift from Enterprise on this round, and Reborn happy to match that pace. Fast rotation, want to hold on to the site. It's a complete departure from these retake-heavy setups that we were seeing win them rounds in the previous few, and I think that's what surprises Enterprise here more than anything else. Really impressed with that. Again, I think when it comes to these sweeping changes, Reborn have been the better so far on Haven.
They are making no mistakes. Players ready to fight out of Garage, or at least try and create a trap. Batu's the one to take contact. Hezekiah seems to have woken up, fighting mid and winning. But the players lean heavier towards the C side, but that's not where the spike heads. It looks to be A.
Yeah, Lurie just flanking these two Enterprise players who are already walking out into the mouth of A. It's Lime with a Marshall headshot onto Riazi. It's going to recuperate one of these rifles, make it a 4-on-4. And as Lurie's planting, that's the Hunter's Fury to come online as well. So a tool in post-plant. Can Enterprise improve that metric?
Mate, there's 3 rifles on Enterprise. This could be dangerous against Reborn, and Causey seems up for the flank.
Especially if they can find Dead Ink here. Dives in, great bait from the ult, and Lurie actually the one to finish him off. Straight into the mouth of the beast itself, and there you go. Batu can't play chase to the rest of his team, and Enterprise move to map point. What a ridiculous exchange there that we saw, but the necessary improvements for the attack made, and they stick the landing this time.
That they do. It has been a competitive and entertaining map for Enterprise and Reborn, but it feels as if right now Enterprise have had enough. They want to finish things here and now. And that A adaptation, the fact that like we see them actually set up to play on the front foot, the nice bait onto with the ultimate.
This goes here.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on in that backline, to be honest, but Enterprise are happy.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
They'll take it. Playing a wide net, casting it across the map in the previous. And now here, just requiring 1 from the remaining 2 rounds. Reborn have done a fantastic job to get back into this game, find a foothold, really dig in. Showing grit and determination beyond their years, as this is only really the second big outing that we see from them in Challengers EMEA. Defending that previous title against Na'Vi Jr. It's another Northeast team though, and this one with the Lions' share of domestic wins. Kachao is the only A player. That's what it all comes down to. How many can he find if Enterprise stay in this neck of the woods, which it looks like they're getting ready to execute into?
The one thing that we always say about Enterprise is they pay attention to the smaller details. Very rarely do they get caught off guard. So the question looms, Kachao, how many can you get? Flash set up, he isn't able to dodge it, and it's an easy clear. Enterprise now look towards A. Has seen Riazi in towards Sewers. He's still there. Can he get any more? The answer no. And Reborn tried to get back in, but get costed the lives, costed the map. Enterprise are 2-0 up in a best of 5.
Fantastic round from Enterprise there. Slide reset onto the ult from Lime, completely carves things open and split up very much to their liking. A 2-0 lead in this series is not a death sentence. I don't want to over-exaggerate what this result means. Haven, neutral ground as far as I'm concerned between these two teams, despite the fact that Reborn have a strong record on it up until this point, despite the fact that they'd won it previously. Fracture could be a turning point, but I don't know if they've left themselves enough wiggle room to jostle this one back, and I think that is probably the biggest difference at this stage right now, because Enterprise have looked that little bit better. It's down to the analysts though to see what they think of this one.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Hazza. Is this, you know, a death sentence for Reborn, having their map pick stolen? No, I think we've said enough times today that I don't know if it matters what stage these two teams are playing on necessarily. Yes, there's, you know, little kind of advantages that each team have on each map, but I think they're both just such quality and have such good win rates over every map that it really doesn't matter where they are. It's the question is, can Reborn get through the rest of the series without making a single mistake leading to them losing a map, right? Enterprise Esports are in such a good position now. They can really take their foot off the gas a little more. It looked like they took the foot off the gas quite a bit for the first half and towards the end of the second half of that game, MP, but they managed to close it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for the side of Reborn, they had great chances into this. Kachao once more being that solo individual duelist, finding great chances for there. Riaz even popping off, but I think Reborn just not finding that consistent factor on their side meant that they weren't quite able to bring this back all the way into the OT and Enterprise to take it 2-0.
And I will say this, the importance of winning the pistols and the follow-ups for Enterprise on this map were extraordinary, right? Not getting those, we'd have a completely different game on our hands. In terms of the buy rounds, yeah, this was Reborn's day, and I feel like the casters were able to say that a few times, how strong Reborn were to adapt, were able to read situations, get into the flow. But Enterprise had the buffer necessary, and they did what was required, right? Nothing more, nothing less. Fine margins, but they got the job done importantly, and I guess that's why they're 2-0 at the end of this.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Enterprise seem to show a resilience sometimes that is absolutely impossible to overcome, right? And I think players step up all over the place, and I think one of those players, MP, in this map specifically, was Lime.
Definitely. I set big expectations to Lime before this map and highlighted that Enterprise need him to step up with the operator to get the ball rolling early on that defensive side, and that's exactly what he did. Lime was incredible throughout this match, finding great entries on the defensive side with the operator, Outlaw. Even on the attacking side, I think it was the second to last round where Lime found that entry with the Marshall to bring EP so close on that winning point. And in the end, I think Lime was the crucial key for Enterprise, something that we've kind of missed in this tournament. It's been Cozy time and time again, but now it's Lime when they need him.
Yeah, it's hard to set yourself apart from players like Cozy, right? But Lime is able to do that this time, and it's important to see him at this role. I feel like he's been very underrated in the Challengers scene for the past few years, right? No matter what team he's been playing on, no matter what region. But yeah, he's in the right position for this, and looking that he'll be very possibly playing into the same sort of situation on Fracture, that's the base case scenario for Enterprise.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, they only have one map left to go. We've seen a few washes in grand finals over the years here with EMEA, but it's been a little while, I feel like, since we've seen a team absolutely dominate in a grand finals, and maybe Enterprise Esports right when they need it. Well, I mean, they don't need it. Nobody really needs it. We don't know what the seeding kind of implies when it comes to the VCT stage, but either way, they can establish dominance, and that seems to be what they're going for now. I'm going to throw it to a quick break, and we'll see if Enterprise can close it out in 3.
Am I learning my lesson? Never running from wreckage when it's getting too close. Don't be fooled, mistaken by my angel face. I'm just a hothead looking for a reason to break. I'm the wizard of death, I'll come visit you next. Just put my name on it next to your very last breath. I'm caught inside the fire again.
Hello everybody and welcome back to EMEA Challengers Stage 3. It's the grand finals day, and if you're just joining us, or if you joined us at the start and you blinked, Enterprise Esports are 2-0 up in this best of 5 here. And no, they weren't quick maps, let's not ham it up, but it has been so far the Enterprise Esports show. They've definitely given away rounds, strings of rounds, in fact, to Reborn, but they've always just about kept them at arm's length here, Pavlos. Do you think they can do it a third time in a row?
Well, they could, but will they is a different question, right? One of the reasons why Fracture's sort of selected a little bit more on the less played side as well for Reborn, but still a very decent match, right? They've won quite a few consecutive in a row now, and in the same time, you look at Enterprise, and they weren't able to win their last match, right? Needing to go to overtime, and again, not able to cross the line. Their comp is different to what Reborn bring in, right? They boast the Jet, they boast the Rays, while Reborn are a little bit more straightforward with the strengths of Kachao, falling in line with the Neon. So it'll be interesting how Enterprise are able to fare here.
Enterprise started strong against Navi Junior's Magnum, to be exact, being that warrior of tower. Out of the 5 grand finals that Enterprise has played this year, there has been only one where they lost a map. That was stage 2 versus Team Liquid. They dropped 2 maps eventually to close it out. But other than that, they've had clean slates in every other grand final. Will this be the same story, or can Reborn actually bring it back? I'm interested to see whether they can actually get back on the board, find that win here. And with this way that Reborn has been after S2G, they haven't lost a single Fracture so far. 3 reps under their belt. This is gonna be the 4th, but interesting to see.
I've got to note as well, back-to-back 13 threes for Reborn in the last matches that they played for Reborn on Fractures. So I'm telling you, man, they're confident on this. So Enterprise, you better watch out, because I don't think it's going to be as simple.
Yeah, I'll tell you another stat, Reborn, which has been said so many times already. It bears repeating at this point. Reborn have not lost a best of 5 yet. They are, I can't remember what the exact stat is, but they haven't lost one. And yet, it looks like that may be the case. Can they save themselves from ruining their scoreline? Let's find out now here with Hazard and Cairo.
Like Twiggy says, it's 3 wins in best of 5s for Reborn, but across all of those series, they have already lost as many maps in this best of 5. So it is about turning things on its head. Can they reverse sweep? It all starts on Fracture. Arguably the strongest map for them in this veto process. It comes at the perfect time, but if there's to be an extension of play, something has to change. They've gotten better and better as the maps have gone along, but it's still not enough to topple a strong Enterprise side.
Yeah, they've played it twice this EMEA Stage 3. The question is, who have they played against? They've played against Misa, which are regional rivals, and they've played it against Ghouls as well, which has, let's be honest, in terms of opponents, it's not Enterprise. So we'll see exactly how they match up in this map 3. It's a good map to have in the veto in terms of a bounce back, but we're going to need to see a big spring from Reborn if they're going to even extend this play to a map 4.
Yeah, don't let the icon in the top left deceive you. As much as Enterprise have picked into this one, Reborn have credit to their name as far as it's concerned. They opt into the attack side here first, and already a pack of 3 players, the courier to the spike, drifting in the direction of Dish. The remainder deep in A main. This is where Alluri currently resides, and with his flash collecting information, forced to backtrack into numbers, and does get taken down.
I mean, Reborn have been very good at collecting pistol rounds, but although Riazi getting punished by Lime, 4-on-4 into post.
You can see this aggressive line which Reborn are trying to hold. Pushed up high, Kachao gets dropped, and it's a little bit of that overheating we were talking about before. A 1v1 in the end that takes place coming out of the connector. Batu left back in main, the captain able to confirm yet another though, so Reborn still very much in this 3-on-3 situation. Dedic crosses to support the site hold. Batu manages to get another from this position. Himself moving back off towards main. Dedic still going though. The engine, the force driving this Reborn side forwards. As it's only Batu left with Kozi finding one quickly. A click onto the head of Dedic. Time is already gone though. And so Kozi cleaning the slate but not the round from the grips of Reborn.
I mean, it's unfortunate that we see Enterprise miss out on this, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's not the first time we've seen them lose a pistol round. Reborn are being very good at picking them up. On Fracture though, getting things started off with the best momentum possible will set them up well.
Looking at it here, Alluri was so isolated. There was no backup plan, no escape route for him in that situation. And Reborn, with their own pistol, able to exploit it. Things got a little more cagey in the site, but already so much time bought.
I like this though, right? You see the contact being taken from Reborn, very slow. Very, kind of not taking enough time, taking enough chances, but at the same time, Enterprise have split up into 2 different packs and have started to explore the map. They've seen that there's nobody towards the top side or the bottom, and now collect a group of 5 after getting 2 orbs towards some pretty decent ultimates.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for Lime as he's one of these 5 players queued up outside A main as he wanted the additional orb. Spike Plant had already come in. But should be halfway to the showstopper, even with a death here. Should a Reborn player find him. Looking at the difference in composition, Cairo, I think that's something we've got to talk about. Killjoy versus Cypher, and Neon versus Jet. Which one do you prefer?
Definitely prefer actually Enterprises. Feels as if Reborn's maybe a little bit, how would you describe it, like a little bit in previous metas. I think Killjoy is definitely in preparation for the upcoming Sentinel changes. Right now we are not on 13.0, but if Enterprise move in towards the next change, then I think they'll be at the forefront of that meta. They will not be thinking about, oh, a title win. All they thought about this tournament is definitely getting the the qualification to VCT.
Yeah, we'll just have to see, I guess, as well, what that next competitive rotation looks like, because Fracture often on the chopping block, of course.
That would be funny.
I can't remember, honestly, if it's in or out with Summit coming up, but...
Yeah, I think as well, though, like, even if it's not that the case with 13.0 with Fracture in, you can definitely have that Killjoy use the lockdown for retake, and it's nice. Nice shots from Enterprise already, though, to get things started.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to come back to here. It's the bonus round for Reborn. I believe just the pistols failed for now. Still 3 rifles behind this. But Magnum, Patatek already warding off this initial B push. So far, Reborn have been very contact heavy in terms of their defaulting, of course, with the initiator changes as well. There's less utility to set you up on this current patch line. Demands it of you. And that's also where Magnum will find so much value through the alarm bot and turret.
Yeah.
The former sighting Dead Ink, he's been dropped. Now just 2 remaining. If Enterprise can keep this clean, it's going to do wonders for their economy.
Yeah, and the ultimate economy well underway as well. And there it is. Bullish run for Enterprise, you'll take that happily. I think as well, the aspect to the Sentinel conversation is people typically call a KJ a 3-lane Sentinel, 3-lane anchor, can kind of follow 3 entries, whereas Cypher's probably 4 and was always the one favoured more so on Fracture because of that. You have 2 trips, a cam plus yourself, and That was always the big conversation point. The difference being, though, is the ultimate can actually win your rounds on a Killjoy compared to that of a Cypher.
Yeah, it is that much more impactful, and I think we'll see that in a bit. It cost 9 orbs, so
yeah,
little while, but Magnum's done well. Little headroom left, 3 rounds in, but it's Patitek yet again that draws first blood. Begins proceedings with another Enterprise kill in the feed, and Reborn showing signs of weakness outside of the first couple of rounds, as was the case on Pearl. 3 bodies here for Enterprise to defend the B site, and it goes from bad to worse, even in the full buy. Kozi another back-to-back flawless rounds. If anything was to inspire confidence that this could be a 3-0, we're starting to get it from Enterprise's defensive half.
A back-to-back flawless rounds, and even though we see Enterprise lose 2 rounds, Kozi hasn't had a single death, just the spike explosions. And that certainly sums it up. Enterprise's defense economy looking good, the ultimate economy even better, and Reborn having to take a minute, having to take a beat.
In some ways, the stage in the veto of this map reminds me of Breeze with Job Life. The other day as Enterprise come up with the first 3 kills in this A split. Last 2 players left in sight. There is a chance for this to end up being fairly dominant. Riazi does pluck one back in spawn, but only 20 points of health, so looks like this is a write-off.
I think the thing that disappoints me about this round from Reborn is we speak about them being like one of our weaker macro teams in Tier 2 just because of rounds like this. It's a 4-lane map on Fracture where you can get many ultimate orbs. I understand that right now you can see Enterprise trying to defend this one, but apart from that, I mean, Reborn don't like kind of cut their losses and try and explore other portions of the map. They continuously try and fight and they lose out.
I think the change up here as well from Enterprise is actually them showing a little bit of aggression, where before they were happy to receive those pushes in the site themselves. Again, rinse and repeat, this time B main, and Kozi able to find Riazi. There's a follow-up in Arcade through Patitek, but he was solo in that endeavor, so a little more labored. He drops out, Showstopper comes in from Lime, and the rest cleaned away, swatted by the backhand of Enterprise. As the dust settles with a 4 versus 2. Last remaining Reborn players locked out in Arcade.
I mean, that's the thing, has it? You were asking for reasons to be scared of Enterprise. I can give you 5. It's Magnum, Lime, Kozi, Illuri and Patitek. They're all the way up to 4. It's a brilliant start post-pistol round. I mean, we've been here at certain points in the series, but I just do not see Reborn fighting back into this one.
I really like the way the Enterprise forced the issue late round there as well. Some fact-finding from the remaining 3 players. Walking out of tower, taking the remaining engagements.
1 enemy remaining.
And drawing a timeout from Reborn. If memory serves, for the 3 maps we've seen so far, they have been the ones calling the initial timeout every single time up until now, Cairo. So it has very much been a case of slow starts, chasing shadows, a few of the things that maybe we've associated with Enterprise in the past.
That's very true, right? Like, it definitely feels as if that's the case. For Reborn, like, it always feels as if they have to have a slow start to fight their way back in. I think for the most part, Enterprise aren't doing anything crazy, let's be honest. They're not doing anything that you would really be worried about, or you would really be thinking, oh, how does Reborn even crack this nut? Enterprise are just inviting Reborn to try and walk up, and they're just shooting their heads.
And this is what we associate as well with, you know, Itopata-led teams. Fundamental Valorant played to a high level. That's why Apex succeeded. Alongside Shadow as well, now from player to coach by his side. And gotta say, Reborn searching for answers on pistols here. With how Fracture tends to play, it's a slight lean towards the defender's side at points, but it's more the way you play it. And again, look at here, group up, defensive players ready to fight the weak side of the push.
Oh, Maybe not what you want to be fighting into. Yeah, Kachow's ready for it. 3 kills in a row. Wow. Taking the hits with just the sheriff.
I mean, me when I lie, I guess. I don't know. Like, Kachow and the sheriff is stronger than 3 of Enterprise's best. Let's see how many more he can find. He's up for an ace.
He can't quite get it this time. He can actually. I thought for a minute Patitek was there for it. But post timeout, Enterprise let it slip, and an ace from Kachow opens things back up.
I think this is probably, for me, the biggest difference that I'm at least seeing between the coaching staff on both sides right now. Lev has been really impressive with these mid-game adaptations. Little switches up, change of tempo, how it is that Reborn want to play when the game is live. But Enterprise starting strong in every map suggests to me that their initial game plans are that much more fleshed out from Itapata and Shadow's perspective. So that's the way things have been trending. Again, it's a little bit of individual brilliance that has put them there, but you can't discount what we've seen up until this point. Magnum hot under the collar.
Yeah, but for the most part, Magnum's been able to answer things with little to no issue. Takes a time and not one that you want to be. At the same time, Enterprise are coming from the back of a main. You're going to see Kachow try and go for a play using his own ultimate, but Causey's there to match it. And right now it's just become a death match in the server. But there's an escape for Reborn as they try and head towards B.
Oh, this is a fantastic call. 3 players back through spawn, open B site, and unfortunately for Alluri, even crossing the zip line, he's gonna get caught in the trap. If Riazi could have found one more there, it would have been big. Big value, but he drops. And so it's a 3v3 retake, and Alluri has managed to work his way back to B main.
Well, a flash is cleared out towards Arcade, so Reborn have even more real estate to work with. That spike and the safe plant on the B site, that's what essentially everything's set up for, but only really one player to hold that, to deny. It's Hezekiah. He's in tower. It's because he makes his way up, clearing through Arcade. He does have Lime at his back support, and Alluri now. He's going to be hot under the collar with a player coming through below. The players in tower hold their position as Lime now has to clutch up. 3 he has to find, and with little to no time left, and a molly burning it at the feet of the spike defuse. It's Reborn to go all even on Fracture.
Fantastic reaction from Reborn. Brilliant mid-round calling from Batu. And every now and then he can be the difference maker for them. Once more, I'm just constantly seeing this stylistic difference between the teams. Enterprise, very good at the start, knowing what those protocols look like in the round, but then Reborn in a couple of situations have been able to usurp them a little bit with you know, a sneaky maneuver like that on a round, and that's what brings it back to an even standing now. Lime's going to bring the op out here in round number 9. But he is nowhere near the initial action as Reborn are gathering 4 or 5 players strong in B main, all of them through the same avenue.
Seems if Enterprise have got a raid where they see Sky utility, that's the main push. Starting to re-clear towards a main, and Magnum's calling for support, and he's already managed to fight his way out of this one with a kill. Does leave Patitek all on his lonesome who goes. That spike going down is going to initiate a brawl from Enterprise. It works out somewhat well. Alluri having to try and get a player dancing around the rope, and Causey with 3 of his own to win out the round. Enterprise certainly looking to make their mark of authority on this round.
And once again, the stars shine on the Enterprise side, even in the darkest night. Causey, the brightest of the bunch. Only his 2nd death registered at the conclusion of the prior round. Operator recovered, and the lead restored. Not much in it for now though, Cairo. Be curious just to track the money on the Reborn side once we come out of the replays. Because kind of like Pearl, it was a close affair at the start, and then Enterprise just really grew that gap, and now it is a massive opportunity for them to start doing that again, clawing back.
I think the difference with Peril, though, was that you always felt as if Enterprise were in control. I mean, 12-7, right? Enterprise going for another fight, though, for re-clear one, which Enterprise have put their mark on themselves. But Riazi with that last kill brings things back onto a 2-on-2.
It's a giant contribution of which the ramifications yet to fully resolve. Stalwart player, been with the S2G organization since when Rians was on board. And now looking to lead him forwards here. Lurie, couple missed shots on the op. Not the friendliest for him, but should be enough for a post plant here. In all that space being conceded, chance for the lockdown. No, Magna just walks straight in.
Yeah, and the operator. Oh, I thought for a minute that Lurie would have no chance. But his open skills passed the mark, passed the test. And needs to hit this next one clearly. Riazi just needs to give nothing away. So Lurie stops and waits. Nothing being given. This is just a standstill in time.
Yeah.
Begins to tick away.
Well, Lurie waiting for the wraparound. Still has a flash, but again, the op's not the gun that you want, and that spike has still not been worked on, Cairo.
And the flash has not found Riazi. So Lurie looks the wrong way, and
It's
time
done.
is ticking away. It is done. And Lurie Willie gets the kill. Has completely allowed Riazi to win that by his inaction. I think it's fair enough. It's a decision that he makes, but we end up at 5-5.
Yeah, we do. And so, Reborn continuing to find success after the pause and coach check-in. As I was saying, Riazi's been here for such a long time, it would be easy to forget him. But in terms of talent, still so good, and it's a clutch perfectly played into the lap of the captain on the other side, because Lurie's usually the man for the job in those situations. Can either team carve out an advantage? Last chance for money, Enterprise here.
Yeah, and Enterprise are the ones who are the ones to get the first kill. There's even been an ultimate popped, and Lime's the one to come out with the kill. Two-player advantage, but one on the site. As the players try to flood in, Riazi once again keeping himself alive, keeping Reborn alive. The chances here working out, but Party Tech with a quick double puts things into trepidation.
You should run.
Aluri's on 5 HP and Magnum brings out the lockdown, a bait perhaps, which Batu has actually tried to use against Magnum, but can't quite convert. Enterprise advantage in towards the last round.
And one more required to make it succinct in the second half. Gotta say, Cairo, I was impressed by how Enterprise matched the tempo of Reborn there, ready for the fast round, overloading the sand space, which you're expecting from the split push. Couple of them have been opted for now by the Turkish team on their attack half. And this, a cheeky attempt from Batu to sidestep the lockdown, but the ults return the value. Hezekiah has the orbital strike. They might go for another quick one here.
Yeah, but you're still facing him to cause his op, but it's not a player that I particularly want to be taking duels. Overload the operator, or maybe just swing out and win the duel. This is a Turkish team after all. 3 bodies here for Enterprise in the end.
Plenty in red shirts, but nothing to actually deny the plant from coming in. Moving into post with Molly and ult is huge for Hezekiah, but the flash through has at least stopped that initial fight.
Orbital strike to try and buy a bit of space. Alluri being cooked, but so Reborn. Hezekiah's tried to buy a bit of breathing room with the Molly, but he swings out instead! A 4K to bring it all even!
Hezekiah was cornered there, no way to play post plant on his terms and conditions. So must step up to the mark and does not miss when his feet hit the plate. Enterprise only going to settle for 6 rounds in the end on this half. Looked like it could have been way better for them, but as I said, this map is not dead rubber. Reborn still in the series.
One enemy remaining.
Another 6-all half set up with conditions not too dissimilar to the last. Haven arrived out of the opening 12 in exactly the same fashion, really. However, Enterprise went on to win that from their attack side. If they can do the same here, they will be the champions of Challengers EMEA for a second time this calendar year after their win in Stage 1. But if Reborn want to go back-to-back, it's going to take an uphill struggle, even from this scoreline on their defense.
This is very proactive attack, but it is worked out, and Reborn being proactive themselves, lost their ace site, and they've walked by Magnum, the classic. They should have got two. And I think at this point in time, Enterprise, with the information Magnum's given them, has put all sights on that B.
Yeah, still Hezekiah floating around here, but Enterprise very aware of this. Again, good at citing their weakness, patching over those gaps, open plant towards spawn side, and as you say, with Patatek coming in late from that position, he's in the perfect spot to win this round for them.
Well, that's who you rely upon. No Molly though, so would really rely on him getting sights on the spike. Luri now having to try and hold on towards tower. Doesn't work out, but Enterprise, the rest of the team, have managed to find their own. And Kachal, while he's been good, already taking that amount of damage will result in Enterprise and a pistol win.
It's another pistol round win, which just keeps Reborn honest. As map to map, they have increased the round count. Got to find 13 first here, lest we go to overtime. And then replicate that same feat a couple more if they want to win this series and hold on to the title, which they were able to win. The first unsigned team to ever hoist a victory in EMEA Challengers. Cairo, I think that just makes it that much more impressive. The lack of a support structure behind them, financial investment. It's a real Cinderella run, all things considered.
Yeah, and they deserve
the starlets of the future, but again, it's like, how far into the future are we looking? We thought with Ulf and Pacific going up last year, we would have to wait a while longer to see the same kind of talent rise to Tier 1. Is it going to happen all over again?
I mean, that's the question, right? This 5 of Turkish talent have done so well. And they do well once again. Riazi has just done wonders in terms of finding advantages when realistically Enterprise should be home and dry. The Marshal of Lime hitting. Needs to be careful of the flank, and I don't think he's going to look. Reacts at the right time! And that's a big clutch to keep Enterprise's momentum going.
Almost frame perfect from Lime in the end. You can see a bit of a sigh of relief coming through from him on the player cam because Enterprise have gotten away with it there. No other way than to say it as it is. This bonus not looking too bountiful for them. And on the other side, Reborn out for punishment. Dead Ink has struggled so far, but that Outlaw will be finding 4 out of the 5 players in one-shot range. He is also just going to sell the gun and not find himself in a position to probably take too many of those engagements in A main.
Shot's right. Magnum once again all on his own towards the B side and seen the barrel, doesn't see the sky that's already out, and with Batu missing his shots has costed Hezekiah his life. Kachal goes himself, and these pistols are making the round work. Enterprise spike down, Batu now on the scene, but his teammate Riazi's nowhere to be seen.
What a shot from Line on the follow-up there.
Yeah, mate.
Had me making crazy noises as Patatek gets another, and yeah, the round just crumbles for Reborn. Riazi gonna hang his head as Enterprise move on to 9, and sooner rather than later they'll be home and dry as it's looking. Converting the bonus with, again, like what, 2 rifles? It was the Bandit of Lime that made the difference. Just 4 away, Cairo. 4 rounds away from, by my count, a 6th event win this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to even comment 6, right? When you think of everything that Enterprise have entered, the only mark on the record is that split 2, which Reborn won.
A 7th if you include the EMEA clash. 6, including both domestic and EMEA main events. The main success story coming out of the region this year, no doubt, but Reborn very much playing to their own expectations. They are differing. This is a team which was not even originally the best in Turkey when it debuted, but have taken the reins and now need to do so in the series as well, in this grand final. Take back control. Not the best of buys offered for them here, but I think for me, really, Cairo, we need to see a step up from the duelists. Kachao and Deadink have been match-defining so many times throughout this event, and right now, they are not hitting the same kind of level in the face of an Enterprise side, which have looked good enough on the day.
I mean, the question, I think more than good enough, especially on this map, right? I think we asked the question, Enterprise, can you convince us that you're good enough to go to VCT and be an issue? But I think the same question can be asked of Reborn. 3 maps where they are, I guess, down, or don't like, they've lost 2 of the best maps, right? And that has left Enterprise with such an advantage where I don't even know if I can count Reborn as a possible comeback candidate.
Not at this point. It's got to start player first if they are to force any kind of a return to form. Magnum here, ready to just line him up. Does get stunned, but because he feasts on what Magnum could not finish, does what he couldn't.
Spike planted.
4 versus 2 situation, this for 10.
Heads up.
And it just calling their name in spite of Kachao looking to be the difference maker. He comes up with a moment or 2 here and there, but just not enough to actually win a round for his team.
1 down.
Moments win rounds, but rounds win games. And Kachao missing his timing, only able to now save a rifle. And time feels like it's gone, has it?
Yeah, it is. There's nothing left for Kachao in this round.
Go,
Of course, he had that ace before, and again, chipping in all along the way for Reborn. But Enterprise looking like the better end product, and that has to be the headline here. So much potential in this young Turkish team, but the ones who have risen to the occasion are the European super team that we expected to come here and get this kind of a result in a grand final, of which they are yet to lose.
Enemy remaining.
Yeah, that's it. Enterprise ready to fling it forward onto the B site, which is actually well stocked comparatively. Bato looks to set up Hezekiah, but Hezekiah, you're a smoker, you want to go for that type of fight? The flash doesn't work out, and these little errors is what's going to allow Enterprise to scale up so well.
Lime takes on a boatload of damage before getting the rocket off just enough in the end. It's the molly that will fell him eventually. Through Hezekiah, sent the marching orders, but Patatech already pushed well up into the site, puffs out his chest, the bullets bounce off, Magnum trades back, and with Batu left in reserve, he has to be the hero. But in that mirror matchup, captain v captain, sky on sky, Enterprise, the only ones favoured.
I said it has a moments win rounds, but rounds win games. In Enterprise, round on round, show up, show us the goods, and then go home. They are 2 rounds away from the 3rd EMEA title. Sorry, the 2nd EMEA title, but they're the 6th of the whole EMEA circuit.
Yeah. Technically, they're 3rd as an organisation if we're counting the contributions of the roster last year, but to just draw a comparison quickly, I think it's an entirely different expectation that we put on them here. We've heard from the players and coaches, they want to go to Shanghai. A return to that same stage for Patatech as it would be. The player transfer seemingly not making a difference in terms of any dips in performance. Like I say, they've just been present at the top throughout the year. Riazi, one of the pistol-equipped players here to make the difference, and he will do so. Kachao the next up, but still yet to be tested as Enterprise are playing a much slower round here, aware of the task at hand.
Change of pace. Make Reborn sweat. Ask the question, will you overthink the round?
And it looks like they're starting to. Kachao and Deadink moving over onto A. No information yet. That flash, bit of a red herring actually. Think it goes off on Magnum. It doesn't. And so they win the rotation game, Enterprise.
First day up, Batu's Sheriff. The only form of resistance for Reborn, realistically.
Kachao is here too. The cavalry on spot. Batu playing off it too. Belting shots out of the Sheriff. Patatek answers back, but it's at the cost of an ultimate. Kachao still here, hot and heavy, ready to take him out.
10 seconds
The engine
left.
behind this team. Patty now in a 1 versus 2.
Both
Has the
players
molly.
somewhat low.
That's all, and as you say, those health bars, enticing. Reposition, top sight, finds the first, can't transfer to the second. And so with that, Reborn do answer back. But it is just 1 round right now, and they require more.
Mate, I think that just sums it up, right? Enterprise find themselves on 11 and can't move from there. A nice retort. It comes through again, the heroics of individuals for Reborn. I mean, the unbelievable couple shots. Patatek gives his best go of a clutch. Look to the next. And in terms of our comeback, Reborn have 3 ultimates that could possibly help bridge that gap. But it's whether they space them well enough, and whether Deadink can get his ultimate online in time to try and stop Enterprise.
Enterprise have heavily conditioned this B main default, but with the lockdown in play now, it's just Kozzy trying to catch these stragglers on the way out. He's already spotted 3 players crossing bridge.
Got your track.
He can escape with his life to the safety of the dome.
Mate, he doesn't want it. He wants to fight. He's already found Kachao and Riazi. Deadink, on the other hand, double of his own. That spike ticking away. Heads of Coil, able to try and prove another avenue of approach. You've got to be looking at Batu coming from main. Can they combine in time? A player playing round the edge of the opponent's smoke. Patatek denying any entry point to the spike. Heads of Coil, looks the right way at the right time and knows that he's up against his opponent. Patatek, 8 points of health. The molly blooming, denying any chance to defuse, but his Coil taps, baits Patatek's peak, it comes through, but his health betrays him. It's 12 for Enterprise, match and championship point.
Looking to go the distance in full here, a 3-0 sweep levied, waiting on the table. Kozzy does brilliantly. What a follow-up shot from Deadink. I think that Guardian play actually ends up eclipsing it, but when it gets to the dregs of the round, the molly must be respected, and there's just not enough left on this Reborn side. A solo round picked up as it stands, and again, more heroics, the only fuel to this fire. They've come back from the ashes many times, but while that might be the mantra of this team, it is out of their hands now. Riazi with a Sheriff versus 5. This not to concede the site.
He's had a pretty decent map, let's be honest, Riazi. Maybe not the best, and that's what's going to result in Enterprise having post-plan for the championship point. The Seekers don't know where they want to go, not identifying exactly where the players are coming from, but Enterprise take a step forward in towards CT, and they'll find the kill they were looking for.
Just hunting them down, Cairo. 2 kills away from another grand final win.
That's it. That's all Enterprise need. Just 2 kills and they'll hunt them down. Reborn cannot rise from the ashes of the upper bracket final. Enterprise have the 3rd EMEA title.
As an organization, None better in recent years at this level of play. Of course, we know the Turkish Titans of years gone by can match similar levels, but they're in Tier 1 for a reason, and this roster is Berlin bound. Lessons to be learned for the youngsters on the other side of the server as they take a hit in their first best-of-5 defeat since forming as an unsigned region, an unsigned roster, I should say, represented by them. Cairo, still so many plaudits to be given, but it must be said, this team continues to impress.
That they do. I think the fact that, let's be honest, that stage 2 kind of break for them maybe worked wonders in terms of EMEA. Let them reset, let them have a little bit of a break. But overall, they have shown why we herald them as the best in Tier 2. Very excited for their VCT debut.
Very excited for that indeed, and it isn't all too far away now, everything considered. It's the play-in stage of VCT EMEA that we will see them go toe-to-toe with the VCT teams that don't immediately make it to playoffs and send themselves in the direction of Barcelona. We will be on LAN, of course, the next time that we see these rosters competing, and I think that is a tantalizing prospect because we've seen some very exciting VALORANT played from them, plenty of new talents, players yet to debut in that kind of environment. We know that the Turkish League likes to put on these lavish lands, and we've seen them in Istanbul before, but not so much for players like Kozi, for example, or even Lime in these situations. Yes, had his fair share in DAC, but it's a completely different level, and yeah, I just can't wait to see how they end up doing.
Yeah, I think so. Against some of the best, right? You've got to be thinking of that bottom 6 that will drop down in towards the play-ins from VCT, then to make your way into what is the playoffs against some of the best, right? You'll be thinking of your Vitalities, your Foots, your Fanatics to an extent. I think that's where we're going to be looking at all the exciting things coming for Stage 2 VCT.
It's going to be a perfect barometer. It's actually the bottom 8, I believe. It's only the sort of top 2 teams from each group that actually get seeded into the playoff bracket. So yeah, we get to see where this Enterprise team plays, and Reborn as well. But to just wrap it up again and come back to your winners, for them to bury the slump behind them in this kind of fashion, set themselves a class above, sweep the series, I think is going to do wonders for them in the amount of time now they have to get ready for Berlin. But that is all from us. I've been Hazard, joined alongside Cairo on the commentary position once again. We are going to head it back over to the analysts for hopefully post-game interview, all of the breakdown. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you guys. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just saying in the green room, that is the first ever 3-0 kind of grand final I've ever seen, where I was so impressed by the losers that it made the winners so much better. We do have an interview now immediately with Lime, so I will talk to you guys just in a little bit. But yeah, I need to speak to the winner. My God, congratulations. Not only a great performance from the team, but an amazing performance from you.
Yeah, thank you. It was good from us, yeah. We played very close to how we do in scrims, and that's basically the result of what we've been working for this last 6 months or 7 months with the team. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it must feel pretty good that, you know, all of that hard work has come together to, you know, like, I'm sure you agree with me, they were no pushovers there, and yet you still didn't drop a map. It must feel really great that your hard work has come together for a victory like that, where you don't even you know, break a, well, maybe not, but break a sweat was what I was going for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we gave them like a couple ins on some of these rounds. Like I think Haven, we like lost 5v2, and they started snowballing back their attack. Like I feel like, you know, but the thing is, they're a team that's good enough. They're going to win rounds like that, and you just have to reset, go next, and keep playing. But yeah, they're a fantastic team. I'm sad they're not like signed to an org or anything, but I'm sure most of their players will end up on solid teams next year.
Yeah, I mean, look, and part of that is going to be, you know, a lot of on-stage experience and a lot of, you know, viewers watching, right, for the VCT play-ins coming up. So we'll turn our attention to that. how do you expect you guys to do there? Because I think with a performance like this, the individual performances you guys had, you know, you can come up against a lot of those teams and not only hold your own, but get a win, right?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, everyone knows, everyone believes that we're contenders to make champs, let's say. At least, you know, I mean, that's our goal. Yeah. We know we're better than half the VCT teams already. It's just a matter of showing it. And obviously we have confidence from like practice. You know, like in practice we beat a lot of these teams, so yeah. I mean, our expectations are high, but you never know what happens on the stage, so.
Yeah, of course. What would you say if you were putting out a PSA to all the VCT teams, to all the viewers who, you know, maybe don't watch Challengers all that often, and just, you know, they love their Vitality, they love their Fnatic, and now they're seeing Enterprise Esports join the fray? What would you say is your greatest strength as a team coming into the VCT play-ins? What should they be looking out for from you?
Ooh. I mean, to be honest, it's like the strength is that we're kind of just good at everything. It sounds boring, but I mean, I'd say maybe our strength is just our players. I think we're all incredible with doing something. We can always, anyone in this team can make a crazy play. But yeah, I was just gonna say, I think overall we just got a lot of things going well for us.
Yeah. All right, and look, you've addressed well, hypothetically, you've addressed the viewers now. What do you have to say to the teams you're going to come up against, right? Like, give me a soundbite. What do you have to say to the VCT teams? You're coming for their spots in Champions. What have you got to say for them?
Maybe I have an image. I don't have anything to say. But do you know that like meme where it's like the 4 doors with the Grim Reaper? That's I'll just put that image out there, and that's it.
Okay, great. All right, I'm expecting to see that later on Twitter. All right then. All right, thank you so much, Lime. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck with play-ins.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think any more needs to be said, right? That is the performance speaks for itself, both from Lime and from Enterprise Esports, MP.
I mean, what a strength to have. We are good at everything. That's what it felt like when I was looking at Lime today. He was so incredible in every map. That's something that I think Lime has kind of struggled in this tournament, that he has had poor performances, but then he steps up. Here, he had great performance overall throughout the tournament. Nothing like he had against Navi Juniors. He was incredible. He got every kill that he was presented with, and what a performance for the side of Enterprise Esports. This round even on Fracture, bringing that home was great. And Lime, for me, he's the Grand Finals MVP.
Yeah.
I'm starting to really fall in love with this team, and I'm saying starting now because, look, they've now completed a cycle. Sure, there's more to go. Sure, there's a bigger challenge ahead of them, VCT, right? Where, you know, this is kind of the first time players like Hozzy will be able to, you know, face up against. Lime, sure, he's been around the block many a times to play at a VCT level. That hasn't been a thing for him as well. It could be similarly said about Ilori, and I feel like this is a brilliant opportunity that these guys have. And look, you've got leadership behind you. Itopada, Shadow, I put Magnum along those lines as well.
Yeah.
Patitech having that experience now, they can let these guys know what it's like playing on stage in Berlin, what it's like playing VCT level competition. So I'm excited about this Enterprise team. I feel like now that the circuit is becoming a little bit more open, that you know, you don't have to kind of be a partnership team to compete at the highest level. The sky's the limit for these guys, and I really want to see how far they can go.
Yeah, I look, if I was, you know, a Vitality, a Heretics, a Fnatic looking at this team, you know, a top team looking down at this team, I would actually be a little bit intimidated. Maybe not like, oh, we're gonna lose to Enterprise Esports, it's gonna be humiliated, but I would be like, okay, we actually really need to do our homework here, right? This is a very, very scary team. Like, at times, yes, you know, you've seen the Challengers-esque kind of look where, you know, they've had their ups and downs. They have had, you know, stage 2 obviously was a low light for them. Coming into this one, they've lost maps and they've lost streaks of rounds that, you know, maybe it does need to be patched up. But as a whole, I do think Enterprise Esports at their peak is a ridiculously talented team, MP.
Yeah, and what a record so far this year as well. Enterprise, 43 wins out of their 48 matches. Great win-loss ratio right there, right before they go into play-ins. And I think you already highlighted there's 2 players that have gone to VCT, but Enterprise, they've already done this at the start of the year. They faced against these VCT teams in EMEA Clash and didn't lose against single one of them. Sure, we might argue that maybe they didn't face against the best VCT teams, but then again, we have Foot who did go to Masters, so Enterprise definitely one of those teams that you have to be afraid of.
Completely agreed. And look, we've been mentioning it from the start of the day. There are many things to like about this team. There is the backbone of the structure this team has, reading into their opponents. I feel like their preparation is huge and it will really help them into the high-level games, as well as these individuals that pop off at any moment. But I do want to highlight as well the competition that they've been facing up against. This has been a pretty strong Challengers playoffs lineup. I feel like if you roll back in other years, maybe even in splits before this, you'd see teams that weren't that great. I don't feel like that we're representing the best that this tier 2 can offer. But this is different. I feel like teams like Job Life, teams like Reborn, they really showed up. Teams like Focus, to a degree as well, have got a lot of potential and can bring some high-flying performances. And Enterprise being able to whittle through such a competitive field with such ease has got to say something.
All right then, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on the desk today. I think we're done glazing Enterprise Esports for the time being. We'll let you go. We'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your, the long rest of your evening. Enterprise closed it out so quickly that you've got plenty of time to yourself before the England versus Mexico game. Tune into that one. It'll be fun. No, but seriously,
6 hours.
It's so much time.
I'm not staying up for that.
Guys. All right. Enjoy the rest of your days, guys. Thank you so much for watching EMEA Challengers Stage 3. Thank you so much to the production, for you guys for joining me on the desk, for Hazard and Cairo for casting as well. You guys casted too, so plenty of people to thank. And yeah, thank you to the viewers. All right, we've got one more event for you, LCQs, coming up very shortly, and then that'll be it for us. And I'll save the emotional goodbye for then. But for now, thank you and good night.
Last player standing. Get locked. One enemy remaining. Thrifty. One enemy remaining. Spike down.
running till I barely feel my feet. Wanna see it through my own eyes. There's no going back, and I'm not afraid anymore. Cause I know I'm gonna be the last one standing. Yeah, I'm not afraid anymore. Yeah, I don't wanna wait anymore. I'm ready to fall. I'm ready to rise up. I will do what it takes. I'll run blind straight into the flames. Watch me burn, alone in the shadows. I'll carry you home on my back. If it's you or me, then I'll take the shot. Still they say I'm the villain. I scream and nobody listens. Still they say I'm the villain. Too bad you can't take me down. See that I'm surrounded by predators. It's critical, they got me in my element. It's dirty how you trying to keep it elegant. Keep my eyes open wide when everyone around me is an enemy. See my life cross my eyes. I'm ready to fall. I'm ready to rise up. I will do what it takes. If it's you or me, then I'll take the shot. Still they say I'm the villain. I scream and nobody listens. Still they say I'm the villain. Too bad you can't take me down. Too bad you can't take me down. You can't take me down. I'm ready to fall. I'm ready to rise up. I will do what it takes. I'll run blind straight into the flames. Watch me burn, alone in the shadows. I'll carry you home on my back. If it's you or me, then I'll take the shot. Still they say I'm the villain. I scream and nobody listens. Still they say I'm the villain. Too bad you can't take me down.
틱틱 문을 차고 있자 이건 데자부 이미 와본 걸까 내 성공을 전부 담긴 그릇이 작아 I can't lose 점수 그건 의미 없는 숫자 내 열의 top 10 거는 식당 해골로 채운 옷장 전부 덱스탁 상시줄이 red dot 경고는 없어 better not 난 사방에 다 뿌리지 마치 red hot
Broken and bruised, what's left to lose? Here on the edge of forever. I'll never win, I'll never fight. Win or sacrifice, fight until the final hour. Pain is my superpower. Keep my head up high, run through rain or shine. Cannot sleep without the sour. Pain is my superpower. 할 말 있음 어서 말해봐. Tough guy 되었고여서 도망가. 이제는 시시해 gunfight. I brought a blade. They forgot to shave. 날 주세워 맛보기 fade. 끝이 보여 네 bandits. 끝없는 내 rampage.